Let's get nasty on a Tuesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we are joined for the first hour of the show in our Cardinals Power Hour with our guy, Brad Thompson. What's up, BT?
What is happening, fellas? How we doing today?
Well, we're doing good. First and foremost, we're up 3-0 on the Riz show now in the Pick'em Challenge. So no better time to talk to you than right now.
Well, Anthony, I thought we played it so well the last couple of years, where we made them feel like they had a chance, and it was just like, all right, let's just do it. It'll be back and forth, and it's easy to pick against the sports guys. We reeled them in, and now we're finally crushing them like we knew we could do all the time. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, well said. Don't give too much of the game plan out, BT, but yeah, you kind of touched on some key parts there. Lull them to sleep and then take the shot downfield, and that's what we did. Our guy, Jamie Rivers, is carrying us right now, though. He's been phenomenal.
Even a blind dog finds a bone, boys.
I don't think, well, whatever you're doing, hey, if you want to blindfold yourself, Jamie, that's your prerogative, man. Just keep doing what you're doing.
It's exciting sometimes when you do that.
Sure, yeah. It's exciting to see that you got 34 points right now. You're leading darn near everybody. I see that the overall leader has got 36. There's a couple people with 36.
Wow.
You're right there at 34.
Wow, well
You're
done.
A maniac. But let's
Jamie,
go ahead.
Whatever
BT.
Jamie does, Anthony, and you know this very well, don't ever bet real money on these games.
No, stay away.
It'll never turn out.
It'll never translate. Yeah,
very,
good call.
Very well said. Yes.
Don't think it's easy. It's not. Just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. BT, should Blake Snell be the sole focus for the Cardinals this offseason? That's what people are asking.
No.
What?
Hey, first of all, you think this team is close enough to have a sole focus?
No.
One guy that's going to do it. Blake Snell's not going to do it. No, not that they shouldn't necessarily be interested and in on Blake Snell. Now, I don't know. I don't know what the contract's going to look like for him. Honestly, it shouldn't matter dollars-wise. The Cardinals should be in on whoever. But no, he can't be your sole focus. He can be a focus. You got to focus on Nola also. You got to focus on Sonny Gray, in my opinion. Those are the top three that you need to land at least one, if not two, of those guys. But, yeah, I feel like they're in a position right now, guys, where if you just put all your eggs in one basket and that egg decides it wants to be on a coast or in a different city or stays in San Diego. Like, if I were San Diego, that would be my priority, is keeping that guy around and keeping him in the building. Now, they know him a lot better. They know, his agent. They know maybe what the ask has been. Maybe they don't want to pony up that kind of cash. But for me, that's more of a singular focus for the Padres. But the Cardinals have far more holes pitching-wise than to have, Sonny Gray be the guy. Because even if they landed him, which would be a great land, you still have another couple of spots in your rotation that need to be filled, and you do not have the arms to fill them internally. I think that we've proven that.
Yeah.
And you still need some help in the bullpen as well, and potentially maybe another veteran off the bench. Man, they got a lot of work to do.
So the Cardinals in Milwaukee, and BT, we're getting the screen up for you right now. Are you in Milwaukee?
I am at the old Fister.
You're in the Fister. Okay,
wow.
All right.
What an honor.
First night, or was it last night? That was your first night?
Been here 2 nights. We got in really late after the game on the West Coast in San Diego. Had an off day here yesterday. Have not seen a ghost yet. Didn't spend a ton of time in my room yesterday. I've picked up a new hobby called golf, boys.
Wow.
And it is... boy, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of walking around, especially when you play like I do, where you see the entire course.
Trying to get your steps in.
Of course. Look, if you're going to pay good money to go play somewhere, let's see it, okay? Yeah. I don't want to just be right down the middle of the fairway. That's a boring walk.
Come on.
So, yeah. But no, nothing crazy happened at the Fister yet.
If a relative that has since passed visited you, what's the play? Would you be freaked out, or be like, you know what? I got some questions for you?
I think you got to embrace it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that you'd be afraid of a relative that comes back to visit you. I think you'd be afraid of a random, like a small child, right?
Yeah.
Like a child would terrify me more than anything.
That's a good call.
Is a child scarier than maybe a really old person?
Yes. Yeah, I think a child just staring at you in the middle of the night. because it's trying to find, maybe it's a sad story, but trying to find his parents or something.
How do you know he doesn't have parents?
I mean,
like, what if the kid has
not being
parents?
responsible, that's for sure. Letting that kid just go visit other people's rooms.
Fair point, BT. Fair point.
What I'm saying is this child kind of got lost and eventually wound up in BT's room, and now the child is asking. Well, he got a little confused.
I like this story.
He got a little confused in the afterlife.
That's what happened to him? Okay, never mind.
You know what I mean?
I thought you meant...
It's not how we lost the kid, Jamie.
Okay.
No, it's not how the kid was lost.
Well, I thought that's what happened, is the kid ended up in your room and nobody ever saw him again.
Jamie, my bad. You're thinking of
context matters.
You're thinking
totally
of
agree.
You're thinking of the original story. I'm talking about the new story.
Yeah, my bad.
We're still talking about a ghost child. Stumbled into BT's room, got a little lost trying to visit the old parents who are staying at the Pfister, and then now they're staring at BT. Like, what's the play?
Does this child have a bicycle with them?
Yes. Ooh. Tricycle. It's red.
It's a tricycle.
Yeah. So maybe BT,
I don't like it.
Maybe you open up the door, kid goes out the door, and last image you see is the kid going down the hallway on the bicycle. You know?
At the Pfister Hotel, right, there's a new side and there's an old side. And I'm sure we've talked about this, but we stay, us media folks, we're staying on the newer side. But I think the rooms are probably a little bit smaller than the other side. But there is like a throwback old side. And I've stayed over there before. And like the hallways are like crazy wide with like very ornate chandeliers. Like the lights like flicker sometimes. Like it feels incredibly haunted on that side of the hotel, or just eerie. And maybe it's because somebody planted that seed and said the hotel has ghosts.
Sure.
Maybe that's what it is, because once that seed is planted, guys, that is hard to dig up. Like you're just going to think about it. But the other side of the hotel feels very creepy. But it's an awesome hotel. Like it's a really cool spot with lots of history and ghosts. And hopefully they don't venture into anybody's room, because nobody needs that. This season's been hard enough, guys. I don't need to, nobody needs to be dealing with ghosts as well. But if it is an old ghost like you guys were talking about, I'm not scared of that one. Like the old one, like you died. Like that's for sure.
Yeah,
and there's a reason. It's because you're so old.
Right.
But like with the kid one, it's like, what happened? Jeez. And now there's going to be a story, and
it's going to be heartbreaking. Yeah.
Of course it is.
So, BT, if I got this correct, the players stay in the haunted side and the media stay in the new side?
Well, it's not all of them, because I think like the suites and like the really nice rooms are on the older side. So,
but that's where all the ghosts
players stay on the new side. Potentially, like I don't know if there's boundaries of where they can go and where they can't
Do they
go.
have shock collars on?
That I don't think so, because I don't know if those are going to be able to go through walls like that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that they'd get stuck.
Why would the ghost be wearing shock collars?
So they know to stay in the old part.
Yeah,
or would the new part just not
here.
be accessible? Like the spirits know, like,
they're ghosts. There's I don't think there's any rules for them on
walls.
the.
I think there is rules. I think
there might be rules on the other side.
Some of these ghosts that are like bound to these hotels or these houses and stuff, why don't they just walk outside and go to the next house? They don't. There's boundaries. There's some reason that they stay in that area.
But Jamie, you're almost presenting this as like the Pfister has rules. Like, hey, you stay on the old side.
Sure does.
No, I think that these...
There better be rules.
I think these ghosts, while I agree there are some rules...
There better be.
When you're talking about old side, new side, I'm sure these ghosts are free to travel, about the cabin, as long as they stay in the Pfister. I don't know. BT, next time you see a ghost, ask him for us, okay? We got questions. 211, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Derek Gould tweeted out something in regards to the NL Central, and I want to ask Brad and Jamie this question, and I wonder if it's as obvious an answer as what I think. That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, we're fired up. We're heading out to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum on Friday. We're going to be broadcasting live right there from their showroom, and it's a perfect time because Auto Centers Nissan's huge anniversary sale, it's going on right now. 750 new end-use vehicles, all at one location. Every make in stock, I should say. We're talking about discounts ready for immediate sale on these vehicles. So if you're in the market for a car, an SUV, a truck, maybe looking at a nice sports car, now's the time to head out to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, and why don't you stop down on Friday and visit the Fastlane crew as we broadcast live from 2 to 6. You can spin the wheel to get an additional $1,000 off. You can also register to win a new Polaris ATV. I saw it last week. Man, it's awesome. Sharp-looking ATV. You're going to want to make sure that you register to win that. You also have opportunities to receive other gifts and prizes, financing options for everyone, huge additional discounts and prizes as well. It's Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum off of Highway 55 and McNutt. Come see us on Friday, and don't forget to tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. It's the Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Brad Thompson joining us for the first hour of the show. I'm Anthony Stalter. So Derek Gould tweeted this out a couple of hours ago. He said Brewers are a win away from clinching the NL Central. Cardinals are a loss away from finishing where they have never been before. That is all alone in last place in the NL Central. And they play tonight. They open up a new series in Milwaukee at 6:40 when Zach Thompson opposes Adrian Hauser. So basic question to you guys. Why are the Brewers on the verge of clinching the NL Central with some of the doubts that we had coming into the season? And why are the Cardinals finishing in last place? If you were to kind of throw a blanket on that, blanket answer out, BT, how would you answer that?
They can pitch. I mean, that's the only reason that they're in the position that they are, because offensively the Brewers are not a good ball club.
Yep.
And that's probably going to rear its ugly head, or at least potentially could rear its ugly head in October. But they're pitching. They got the third best ERA in all of baseball, and that's what carries them. So when you have great starting pitching, and then you can hand it off to a back end of the bullpen that has stuff. Like, for as much as we're probably tired, I know I'm probably tired of talking about it. Maybe people are tired of hearing about it. But if you don't have swing and miss, if you don't have guys that can strike people out, you're not going to go far in baseball right now. The Cardinals simply don't have that. All they like, their swing and miss guy is basically Helsley at the back end of the game. He's got some of it. Jojo Romero, when healthy, I think that he's got some swing and miss. You're really lacking it in your rotation, and that's something that the Brewers have a lot of. Like, look at all these guys coming out of their bullpen. They've got a dude named Abner Uribe who's throwing 100 miles an hour. Like, they've got all kinds of just guys that are missing a lot of bats, and that's the biggest thing. Now, do you have to be a more complete team, in my opinion, to go win the World Series? Yeah, I think so. But give me good pitching. Give me 3 starters that they can roll out there in Burns and Woodruff and Freddie Peralta. And I like my chances against anybody.
Jamie and I were kind of talking about this with the defense yesterday, BT, the Cardinals defense. When it comes to, and Jamie, you had mentioned, yeah, you get more swing and miss. You're gonna improve your overall defense. You at least hope. Do you think that, Brad, that when you look at the potential free agents or trade options, are there enough swing and miss guys to add to this rotation? Because that's where my concern would be. I think you're going to add some quality guys. Yeah. I think there's really no way, and I probably shouldn't put this out in the atmosphere, but there's no way you can't improve yourself in many regards with this rotation based on what you had this year. But I don't think you're going to add a whole bunch of swing and miss.
No, Anthony, you bring up a really good point because, look, there are arms that are available. There are good fits for you, but we know this, like, you're not going to land every one of those. And it's not just going to be because, like, Cardinals are being, they're pinching pennies. No, like, the players have to pick you too. Like, these good players are also going to have other options that are out there. So will this team be improved this offseason? Absolutely. They will definitely be improved. Will it fix everything? Probably not, Anthony. Like, you're still going to need other guys to be able to step up. I think that the most intriguing thing this offseason for the Cardinals is not necessarily what they do via free agency, which is going to be really important, and that's going to be your big ticket item. I think that what's going to be interesting is what they do in the trade market, and that's where you end up getting some of these arms, right? So you look at your glut of outfielders. I think we talked about this last week, but you look at being able to ship off Luke Voigt and bring back Giovanni Gallegos. Well, that ended up paying dividends for the Cardinals over the last couple of years. I think that you could easily get something out of your crop of outfielders. Could be some arms that fit the back end of the bullpen, and you might even have to get more creative and more risky and trade off a very big piece to go out and get one of those big arms in your rotation. Like, I think that is going to be the most intriguing part. But I think, Anthony, you hit the nail on the head. Like, just going out and shopping doesn't mean it's all going to be fixed.
Yep.
BT, are the Cardinals willing to trade off that big piece? Because, like, I think the number one thing that has been discussed regarding the Cardinals / John Mozeliak is that everybody's walking around on thin ice after, or they're tiptoeing around scared to have the Randy Arozarena thing happen again.
Sure.
And so let's just isolate someone like a Nolan Gorman, because his name pops up as a player that could, get you back a serious arm in the rotation, which I agree it would. I mean, a left-handed guy with pop like that, teams are probably looking at that player a lot. So, but are you afraid that all of a sudden he turns into a 45 home run guy and it bites you in the ass again?
For sure you are. I think that's human nature, that you have to be concerned about that. And I think that's a concern in any deal, even if you don't have the prior track record of trading away a guy. And, Randy Arozarena has put up decent numbers over the last couple of years. Letting go of Adolis Garcia, you see what he's been able to do. Like, there are definitely some trades that have not gone the way of the Cardinals, and that has to be there. But you also, the old adage, Anthony, scared money don't make money.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to go out there and pick the right deals and acquire the right talent from another organization, because it's okay to make a good baseball trade. It's okay for a guy, and we'll just use your example, right, of Gorman, to get traded somewhere and go do what he's been doing, hit for power, play good defense, show off his arm over at second. Maybe they move him to third, whatever. And then you get a good piece in return that fills a big spot in your rotation, that has swing and miss, that helps solidify things. Like, that is okay for that to have happen. But to answer your question, Jamie, like, will they do that? Do they have the appetite to? We're going to find out. Like, I don't know, but I guarantee you there will be plenty calls about Gorman. I bet you there are going to be a lot of phone calls about Nolan Arenado. I bet teams will be calling about him as well, checking on his availability. And I don't know if they would have any appetite to move him. But you've got to be open for everything right now, the way that this pitching staff has been built the last couple of years and the way that baseball is trending. Like, you have got to listen, and you have to acquire the right talent from whichever organization you end up picking from.
Do you think any teams would be calling about Goldie?
I think they would, for sure. I don't think that they would entertain it very much. I don't think Goldie would entertain it, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. There's still a ton of value there with him, just like there's a ton of value, obviously, in contract years with Nolan Arenado. I think you'd be crazy to not call about those guys, especially after the year that the Cardinals are having right now, right? I think that if you are another team after the offseason, you're like, hey, you guys thinking about just blowing this whole thing up, which they're not going to blow the whole thing up. But, yeah, you make those phone calls for sure. If I'm any organization, I would love to bring Goldie in.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense just because you brought this up. To me, it doesn't make any sense to blow it up. You've got your offense in place. You have a very specific need. And we've talked about this before with other teams and really in other sports. You're never one player away, and the Cardinals are certainly not one player away. But they are kind of one need away. They know they have a very specific need. Your offense is set. You could even use a couple players to offset that offense a little bit, to add the pitching, to add the thing that you need. But it makes no sense to rebuild. The Denver Broncos should tear it down.
Oh, boy.
The Broncos should tear it down to the studs.
Woof.
The Cardinals don't need to tear it down to the studs. It's not like they can't locate the stink. They're in a house.
No, you're right.
Like, we need to tear down some walls. Okay, we don't need to completely restructure this thing because we can't find where the smell's coming from.
No, you're right. But playing devil's advocate, Anthony, you can also, just going back to the concept of making a trade that benefits you still baseball-wise. So shipping off a big piece does not necessarily mean that you are blowing it up. It means you're kind of restructuring. You're remodeling that house of yours because you realize that trends have changed and you want to be up with the times, okay? You want that farmhouse kitchen, Anthony. I know you do.
Oh, yeah,
You're going to get it. You're going to get it. But
now,
it costs a lot.
No, I know I've told you guys I'm looking for that farmhouse kitchen. What is it exactly, if you could explain it to the people?
Well, you know it when you see it, right? You walk in and be like, damn, this is a nice farmhouse kitchen. A lot of white in there. You've got some
barn doors,
exposed wood. Yeah, I love the sliding barn doors.
Sure.
They're always nice.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Very well lit.
Yeah.
Anthony.
Feels at home. Smells like apple pie.
Sure does.
If you need any help with that, you can always go see my friends at E&B Granite down there on Manchester Avenue. They do a great job of remodeling bathrooms and kitchens primarily.
Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate that.
Just tell them Jamie Rivers sent you.
I'll keep that in mind. Yep. Brad Thompson, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. What do the Cardinals do next season at the catcher position? We'll get into that next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cards, who were off yesterday, are back in action, taking on the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee. 6:40 first pitch. We still have BT joining us. We'll talk some more Cardinals baseball coming up with the next half hour, so stay tuned. The Blues are also taking on the Blue Jackets tonight. You can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. And last night, 2 Monday Night Football games. The Eagles defeated the Bucks 25-11. Scorigami on that one. And Cincinnati defeated the LA Rams 19-16. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
I know that there's a lot of people that didn't think that I was able to bounce back from the rough start that I had, but I know that something that brought me to the big leagues and maintaining the big leagues, that I'm relentless and I'm never give up. And that's what I showed this all second half, just trying to make my adjustments, think one day at a time, and try to help the team in any way I can.
That was Wilson Contreras, Cardinals catcher. Nobody's questioning his offensive prowess, and he's right. He bounced back after a slower start offensively. The questions are, defensively, can he hang behind the plate for the majority of a season? He's going to continue to be the DH at times next year, I would think, or maybe we just ask Brad Thompson. BT, what do you think? What do you think the timeshare is going to look like at the catcher position next year?
I think that, it's a couple things. One, what is it going to look like and what do they want it to look like are two different things.
Sure.
I think they want it to look like Contreras not catching. I think that's what they would want it to look like. But he did sign a 5-year, $85 million deal, and that's probably going to play. So they had talked about it during the season this year. We all know how that ended up. He took a week of DHing and was back behind the plate. That obviously was not the plan, but that's what ended up happening. But I think that they're going to have those conversations with Wilson again after the season of, hey, would you be willing to play a corner and DH? And I would say potentially even bring in another catcher, bring in a free agent, and then have either Kisner or Herrera back him up. Potentially. Again, spitballing, but I think that that's kind of how they would want it to look, because look at you eyeball test, he's not great back there. Metrics wise, they paint an even worse picture. And when you have a pitching staff that is struggling, and you are devoid of talent, as we've talked about a lot. So this is not to lay the struggles of this pitching staff at the feet of Wilson Contreras. I think that we're all smart enough for that. But I also don't think that he's in a position right now where he's going to be able to help a pitching staff. You look at the framing metrics, you look at blocking, you just watch some of the pitch calling. Like, some of these things are they're just not up to par, right, at the big league level. And will he continue to work on it? Yes. Will he get better? Sure. But will it get to the point where he is like a plus catcher? I don't know. I don't know if he has that in the skill set. But it comes down to, if they do have that conversation again, I don't have knowledge that they are going to, but they made it seem like they would revisit this in the offseason. It comes down to his willingness to play somewhere else and let that bat play, because the bat is a game changer.
BT, how the hell did they end up in this situation? I mean, apart from the obvious
$1 million
answer.
question.
I mean,
$1 million question.
This guy was not a rookie or an unknown from another league or anything like that. An established catcher, the major league level, albeit, it was pretty well known that he wasn't the greatest defensive catcher. But now you've got a guy you've committed a tremendous amount of money to, and you're asking him you signed him as a catcher and you're asking him to play outfield and DH. I mean, That just seems crazy to me.
No, I don't disagree at all. And I think that in talking to people that were around the Cubs, like they told you what he was as a catcher. So maybe it was one of those things like where you look from afar, and the obvious answer is, look, they went bat first and they figured defensively they'd figure it out. Well, the bat plays still defensively. He's not figuring it out. So now you're in a little bit of a quandary. But, yeah, I think it was, first of all, the availability, the fact that he was a free agent. And per our conversation just a couple of minutes ago, they were unwilling to go where it needed to go to get Sean Murphy from the A's, whether that's right or wrong, right? Whatever they were asking for, they were not willing to do, part ways with whatever pieces they were to bring in Sean Murphy, who we all know he's one of the best catchers in baseball. The guy would have been a great fit here, obviously. I'm not sure how they got to this point or how they thought it was going to be a lot better, but I am sure that they need to figure this out, because this ends up being a real issue if you have these same problems again. Until we have a automated strike zone in baseball, like, framing is important. All of these little things, and he's got a great arm behind the plate, I'd never knock him for. He's prepared. Like, he does all the things that he's supposed to do. It's just eyeball test when you're watching other catchers around the game. He looks different.
So is there a way to improve that? I mean, obviously that's an open-ended question where coaching and doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Is it so far off, though, that the Cardinals have to look to move in a different direction? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, in an off season, can he kind of shrink that gap?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Like, it's old dog, new tricks, right? So
yeah. I think Jamie too, and maybe I'm sure that there's a hockey parallel to this, or like any skill. As a player, you have an idea. You think you're at a certain place, but maybe evaluators think you're at a different place, right?
Yeah, that was me at the end of my career.
Yeah, I'm way better than this.
Yeah.
So maybe you're
I'm way faster than they're saying. Yeah.
Forget that stopwatch. That's stupid. The Cardinals might want him at an 8, let's say, defensively, out of a scale of 8 to 10 or 1 to 10, and they might think he's at a 2, and he might think he's at a 6. Like, so where it's like, oh, just a small gap, just had a little bit better. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Yes, he can get better for sure. You have to really dig into it. You got to dig into the pitch calling, the framing, the blocking. Like, all of those things are really important, and I'm sure it'll get better. But is it good enough, right, to make that big jump? I don't know.
But is it good enough to at least, what's the word I'm looking for? To at least justify the signing? Because right now, like, it's pretty tough.
His bat justifies the signing, I think.
You think?
If he is willing to play a corner for you in DH and then catch maybe sometimes,
yeah.
I still think that a 5-year, $87 million deal, that's fine. Like, he's a 20-plus home run guy. He'll drive in some runs. He'll bring some intensity. Like, I think the signing itself would be justified if that happened.
So, as a DH, you think the signing itself? I'm just trying to wrap my brain around the number of dollars that are committed to this guy.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. If he takes a corner outfield and he plays DH, then I think that it's fine. But when you brought him in as a catcher, and now the money, because everybody, including, I think, BT, you probably even said it as well. Maybe you didn't. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But we said that's an awful lot of money for a DH, because his numbers aren't that of a DH that would get that kind of money.
Sure. And Anthony, you use this one a lot, right? Sunken cost fallacy. It's like, if you sign him as a catcher, he's got to catch. Screw that. You sign him as a baseball player, play baseball.
Fair enough.
Like, I think that's the way that you kind of have to look at it with him, but he's got to be on board too. And excuse me, he might get better, right? Things might get better for him behind the plate, and he might just say no. Like, he has the ultimate control. Again, this is spitballing if we do have this conversation with him, but he might say, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to catch. Well, then he's going to catch. That's kind of where you're at.
Has he got that kind of power? Can he do that?
He's making.
Yeah, but nowhere in his contract does it say he has to play catcher.
Yeah, but he could say,
he could make your life hell if he wanted to.
Yeah,
any player could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, then you just, okay, then you
then you got a disgruntled millionaire, which you don't want.
Yeah, and you cross that bridge when you get there. But my question, go back to that sunk cost fallacy, BT. I was going to ask you guys, I mean, is it such a bad thing that he's the full-time DH? It would limit your ability to mix and match, get guys off their feet, but instead of getting those guys off their feet, they have a full day off, or Contreras doesn't hit that day. If the worst thing is you improve behind the plate defensively while keeping his bat in the lineup and not allowing, Arenado or whoever to have the day off that day, I don't know if that's the worst thing in the world. You know, if that's
it's a great option.
If that's where if it goes that route, and he winds up being, for all intents and purposes, the full-time DH, I think you could do a lot worse. Is it too expensive for a DH? Sure, but at this point, you were trying to win games.
Yeah, look, is $17.5 million for Adam Wainwright this year too much money? Yeah. Is Miles Michaelis, with the year that he's putting up, making the money he's making, is that a lot? Yes, it is. But that's the price of doing business.
Is Gorman,
sometimes you're going to overpay.
Was Gorman underpaid this year?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, for value, right? A guy's making the minimum.
I mean, you have to look at it that way, too. I mean, who on your roster is making league minimum or is in the arbitration process, or even hasn't even, they're pre-arb, and they're vastly underpaid. I think we have a tendency to look at who's the top guy who's not performing. Let's hammer them, and it's natural, right? It's human nature to say he's being paid more to produce more. Okay, fine, but if you're looking at the whole roster, you have to also include the guys that are underpaid essentially and outperforming their production. I think it all kind of comes out in a wash sometimes.
Yeah, and Jamie, I would think too, the overpaid part of it. The only time that we get into the conversation of like you spent too much money on this piece is when you can't go buy that piece.
Yeah, when
like that's when we get into it. Like, do you really care that Contreras is making whatever he's making?
No.
When you also go out and sign Nola or Gray or whoever, like. We don't care about that. We care when we can't spend anymore, right? That's where it really bites you.
But I think that sometimes some Cardinals fans correlate the two, meaning, well, they spent all that money on Contreras, so, well, they're not in the market now for a number one because they spent too much money already.
Sure.
The DeWitts won't do that.
And they're going to be right. They're going to be right until they're wrong, right? I mean, that's the human nature of it. We'll see. We'll see if they end up landing one of those big fish. But we've had the conversation. We'll continue to have it all off season long. There is a dire need, and there are pieces out there. So at the very least, the Cardinals need to be at the front running and put out the best deal for whichever guy and make him pick you or make him pick something else. Like that's just kind of where they have to be.
That's Brad Thompson. That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We got BT for one more segment. We'll throw a couple different topics at him. Which players have shown promise in the second half? And we had a conversation yesterday about pitching and talent and defense, and maybe we'll open that back up for BT as well. That's all next on 101 ESPN.
Speaking of which, high fly ball deep right. Into the corner goes Fraley. As far as he can go. Richie Palacios has hit a moonshot.
Chip Carey, Valley Sports Midwest on the call, and Chip's partner in crime, Brad Thompson, and our teammate here at 101 ESPN, joining us for the last segment of the Cardinals Power Hour here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. BT, Richie Palacios, would you bat him clean up next year?
Oh, next year. Not ideally. I don't think that that the 4-hole might be exactly where you want him all the time.
Has he not done enough?
He's done a lot. Well, he's done a lot more than I think anybody expected. I'll say that. With Richie Palacios, seriously, I mean, this is a guy that was a waiver claim. You picked him up from the Guardians. You didn't know what to expect from him. And he has done a very good job of taking advantage of it. And when you're around him, and I mean this in a very, good way, it's he's got real confidence. He's almost borderline cocky, which is great. This is a guy that just believes that he belongs in the big leagues, and he's playing like it. He's swinging like it. He's not up there tentative. He's not tentative in the outfield. So I think that Richie has done a good job down the stretch of putting himself potentially on the radar to squeeze onto this roster next year. Is he a starting player for you? Not on a championship team, I don't think, but can he be a fourth outfielder, a guy that you can bounce around and then trust to take a good at bat? Absolutely.
Besides Richie Palacios, which players have really shown promise in the second half, BT? Which guys have really impressed you?
Yeah, it's the young guys that we've talked about all season long. To me, the evolution of Jordan Walker, you look what he's done, specifically in the last month of September. He's hitting for average. He's hitting for power. Defensively, a lot better, even though a couple of gaffes happened on that final game against the Padres, which, by the way, did you guys feel better when Tatis botched a couple of plays out there? Did that make you feel better about Walker?
Yeah.
Misery loves company, guys. It was a tough son.
Sure.
Tough son.
Yeah.
But no, he's leaps and bounds better in the outfield than he was before. So you like that. And then offensively, he's figuring out how to drive the baseball. He's figuring out how to not offer at certain pitches that were getting him out before. He's fouling off stuff to get to the one that he can drive. I love what we've seen out of Jordan Walker.
BT, what can we expect from Mason Wynn offensively moving forward? Because defensively, this guy's he's a stud. He's tracking down ground balls deep in the hole and firing 100 mile an hour across the diamond. He's exciting as hell to watch. I'm just wondering how long it might take for his bat to play a little more.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because Mason talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that every level that he has played at, when he gets called up to a new level, that he struggles at it offensively, struggles at that level, and then ends up making adjustments. That was the case at the beginning of the year in AAA. He was not hitting for average, not showing off any power. At the end of the year, he hit 288. He hit 18 home runs, 15 doubles. It all ended up coming there, for him. So I think that offensively, you go into next year expecting him to hit near the bottom of the lineup. I think that you could see him progress and move closer and closer to the top. When you're watching him offensively now, I think it's evident there are some timing issues. He's getting beat with some certain pitches, but we've seen him consciously start going the other direction instead of selling out for power. I think that he was trying to justify being in the big leagues right as soon as he stepped up. He's like, well, this is why I'm here. Boom, big swings. And he was getting beat with everything. Now the game that they won because he helped out with a 2 RBI single the other way. That's what he needs to be right now, bat to ball skills. But I think that he's going to get more comfortable. So an overall line for him, what is he going to be? You're good if he's like a 270 guy, hits you 12 to 15 home runs at the big league level. I think that is a good floor for you right now for him, and I think he can be that guy.
BT, when we had this conversation yesterday, so we were talking about, we had played a clip of Mo talking in April about some of the issues that the Cardinals were facing, and somebody on Twitter had the record of the Cardinals since Mo made such comments, and it was like 59 and whatever, so not good. And really, you could do that with any point in the season, and it's going to be a bad record. But then we had the conversation about whether or not it was just pitching or was it a combination of pitching and talent and defense. And Jamie and I started talking about basically run prevention. to me, it's all correlated. The relief, the bullpen hasn't had as bad of a season as the starting staff, but when you factor in the blown saves, that ramps things up. When you factor in the defensive run saves or lack thereof of the Cardinals, that factors it. To me, it's not just a starting pitching issue. It is a run prevention problem. So the question is, how much can you fix in one offseason if it's a run prevention problem?
Yeah, well, the run prevention problem, you're right, but to me, it's another word for pitching. Like, you still need swing and miss. That's what you need. You need it in the rotation. You need it in the bullpen because, again, you don't have it. Like, you're out there in the bullpen. Like, you guys probably watch the same way as you're watching a game. I try to, manage along with Ollie. Like, all right, what would he do here? You got these guys coming up. Who do you want up? Like, there are not, with all due respect, there are not a ton of great options right now for him to go to because you need a strikeout in a spot with a lefty. Who is that? Who's that guy that's going to strike somebody out? King's on the ground quite a bit. Matthew Liberatore, I think, could end up being that guy. Like, right now, your options are limited out there. So that's the run prevention to me, because with the new rules in the game of baseball, you can't put three infielders on one side. The Cardinals were so great at shifting last year that they stole runs left and right, and they were able to get away with it with the pitching staff that they had. I don't care how rangy and great of a defender you have, you're still going to be giving stuff up if you can't shift. And Mason Wynn will help out big time at shortstop, but it's not going to be to the level that it would be you don't have to go out and acquire big arms that miss bats. Whether you like that style of baseball or not, that's the game that you need to play to move on. Because as the postseason comes together, and maybe we'll do this exercise as the postseason field gets solidified, let's look at the swing and miss rates. Let's look at the bullpen K per 9 and see where the Cardinals stack up against playoff teams. That's the biggest difference. Yeah,
you're right. You bring up a good point. Even if you had a great defense, you thought you had a really good defense coming into this year. It's not going to be good enough to have 4 ground ball guys in your starting rotation, or 5 for that matter, and say, we're going to be good. When you also couple in the bullpen, which is a bunch of guys that are just going to get ground balls for you too, or at least theoretically. So
yeah, you end up playing with fire all the time, Anthony. That's the hard part. Like, you're saying, okay, well, we know it's going to be in play. Let's hope it's at somebody. Well, oftentimes it's not.
There's a reason. Like, I thought you made a good point there when you said, you may not like it. You may not like this style, because the first thing that came to my mind was there's a reason why so many teams are looking for it, though. They've done the work on this. They've done the homework. They want guys that can miss bats. Why? You limit the opportunity that the ball is in play, that one is going to sneak over your third baseman, or one that's going to be, a ground ball down the line that winds up being a double despite the location being right. You need to miss bats. Teams are looking for it for a reason. They didn't just wake up and say, sounds good. And then the league followed suit, too, because every league, for that matter, is copycat.
Yeah, no question, right? So the big question that you guys have both brought up today is, will they be able to do it? And I hope so. Fingers crossed. And they're going to need to. You're going to have that, but it's going to have to be creative. You're going to have to go out there in free agency. You're going to have to spend some money, but you're going to have to acquire the right targets in other people's organizations when you make some trades, because there will be trades that are made. You got too many outfielders again. You got to figure out that. You got to be able to bring in some pieces that can help. And I think that will be a lot of the trade market potentially, is maybe adding to your bullpen.
BT, we know that you got to get over to the ballpark, man. Great stuff as always. We appreciate you joining us for an hour.
Hey, awesome catching up with you guys, and hopefully we got something fun to talk about next time, like a couple of wins in a row and then a Waino weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're looking forward to that. But you know what? We did get a couple of wins in a row, so make sure you get your picks in for the NFL Pick'em Challenge Week 4, and we'll be good to go. So
sounds good.
We're going for 4 straight. Boys. You too, BT. We'll see you, buddy.
See you, buddy.
See ya.
That's our guy, Brad Thompson. You can see him tonight, Bally Sports Midwest, as the Cardinals and Brewers open up a new series at American Family Field. Jamie was down at practice today, had an opportunity to overhear some of the things that Torey Krug had to say. And boy, Jamie's got some good thoughts on that and some of the things that Torey Krug, quite frankly, opened up about. That's next on 101 ESPN.
we have a great locker room, and you know, I feel like, I don't know, go around, take a poll in the room. I hope I'm a big part of that room, and I enjoy being, working and being a part of it. We had a crappy year last year, so when you don't win, anything's up for grabs or anything goes. So that's, like you said, that's the business part of hockey, and if you want to be part of the solution, you put your foot down and you try to do your job.
That was defenseman Torey Krug, who spoke today to the media. Jamie was in attendance, and Jamie, you came away impressed with Torey Krug, or at least appreciative of the fact that he opened up today. 3 o'clock here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Jamie, as you told it was a situation where Torey Krug said, okay, I don't want to talk about this too in depth or keep going back to it over and over and over again. But, basically, what do you got today?
Yeah, well, he kind of prefaced it of, don't really want to get into all of this, but I understand. And, it was kind of the unwritten part of it was like, let's do it today. Mm-hmm. But, after this, we move forward.
Let me play hockey.
Leave the team alone.
Yeah.
Leave Army alone. Leave me alone. We've discussed it.
I think that is highly respectable, and I think the media in this city will appreciate him opening up and also, like you said, being professional enough to move forward now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the media did a good job of asking very relevant questions. I think the same question. Well, one, look, at least it was confirmed. Now we don't have to say allegedly.
Right.
Because Army, he never divulges anything, which I get it. He's in charge of a large number of people, and it's not his business to just go telling us everything that happens behind closed doors.
Right.
So I respect that, but I also respect Torey Krug just kind of clearing the air. Hey, yeah, it did happen. He talked about how it impacted his family. He talked about a lot of things, that it was a situation to where he's a human being. And it is difficult to feel like somebody, even if the situation is different or they're looking at a different angle, someone doesn't want you. Mm-hmm. And I think that any walk of life, whether it's a personal relationship, whether it's someone that's working any job out there, not necessarily professional athletics, when you find out that someone or your company or your significant other doesn't want you anymore, it stings. No matter how hardcore you are, it stings. So, but I want to toss to some audio here because Torey Krug, again, obviously asked about the no trade and his feelings about, not waiving his no trade clause. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I chose to stay here, and I think that, I want to be part of this room and love playing in the city and wearing the blue note. So something I'm very excited about. And obviously, you don't like hearing things like that. I have kids, I have a family, a lot of things to think about. But at the end of the day, like I said, I want to be here and wear the note. And we have a great locker room in here with a great feeling in the room this year. And I think we can turn around quick. I'm here to play hockey. I signed up to be in St. Louis for 7 years, and that's what I want to do. When you hear stuff like that, obviously there's more that goes into it than what's on the ice rink on the surface. But like you said, you have kids, your family, your living situation, picking up your family to move, things like that. So at the end of the day, I want to be here. So that's all I can really say about that.
After hearing that, Anthony,
yeah,
I hope Blues fans, and I know they will, are going to get behind this guy. Because how often do we talk about, quite honestly, ad nauseum, about the player that doesn't want to be here? How many conversations / segments, shows, days did we talk about Vladimir Tarasenko? Mm-hmm. Doesn't want to be here. He's asked for a trade. We can't trade him. We can't go this. He won't waive his no trade. We talk about that player all the time.
Yeah.
How often do we talk about the guy who really wants to be here? And whatever his reasoning, he's saying the things that, for me, as a Blues fan or as a teammate of his, I'm going to go to battle for him. Mm-hmm. He signed with St. Louis for 7 years because he wanted to be a St. Louis Blue. He loves the fans, he loves the city, and he proudly wears the blue note. What the hell else do you want?
Right.
Did he have an off year last year? Yes.
Yeah. A lot of players did.
Was he alone?
No.
No. Mm-mm. Yet he's been targeted or singled out amongst the group because he refused to waive his no trade clause. I think that's a stand-up guy. And the vibe that I got from Torey Krug today was that, he's here to change the narrative, mm-hmm. that this team is different. It's not the same team that it was last year. So when I look at players like that, it's a bounce back season for him. This is a guy that now has something to prove. He's had a really long, really successful career in the NHL. He's been to 2 Stanley Cup finals. Obviously, we know the Blackhawks was one. They took it from him, and the Blues took it from him as well. But he's here now with the expectations of going back to the final. Of course, everybody wants to win, but the expectation of going back there, that the Blues will produce a group at some point that goes back to the Stanley Cup final. So I don't know about you guys. Marcia, you can jump in on this too. But, like, when you hear a player tell you how much he wanted to be a St. Louis Blue, like, are you, and if you disagree with me, please just let me know. But aren't you more willing to forgive some of the bad play from the year before, waiting to see him be successful this year?
Well, you had brought up the point about, well, I hope people kind of rally around Torey Krug now. Blues fans, to their credit, rallied around Vladimir Tarasenko when it became public that he was looking to get out. We all remember Tarasenko being one of the stars of the game, the one home game, and the fans cheering him on and all that stuff. So if you're gonna rally around him like you did, show him support, I would think, to your point, Jamie, that you do the same thing here. And he didn't say, we'll see what happens. I'm just taking this day by day. Well, I'm just taking it year by year. He said, I signed a 7-year contract to be in St. Louis. And I basically alluded to, I intend to fulfill that commitment. So good on him. Good on him for hitting it head on. Good on him for being honest. He opened up a little bit, showed the human side. Did not offer any excuses. Did not offer any, like, bitterness or anything like that. And it is time to move forward. And it is time to back Krug. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I think Torey Krug, even though he was in Boston, and you think of that East Coast player, he reminds me of someone that sort of fits the mold of St. Louis.
He's a Midwest kid. He's from Detroit.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
He was an undrafted player. So I just feel like he's a guy that had to work his way up into the NHL to be where he's at. He deserved to have a no-trade clause. They gave it to him. There's a reason why he has it, because of what he did with Boston. So I do think a lot of people will rally around Torey Krug, but at the end of the day, I think Blues fans and, you know, the Cardinals fans, everybody that's a fan of a team here in St. Louis, bottom line is it comes down to production. So we'll see how long that lasts. If we see a similar season to last year, maybe that those warm feelings aren't there as much as they are right now. So that's just my opinion on the matter.
We got a couple of texts here on the Air Comfort Service text line, which please be a part of the show at any point. That number is 314-399-9646. A couple of texts saying, well, this isn't the first time player wanted to be here. I mean, look at Perron and look at Pietrangelo. Here's the difference. Neither of those guys were asked to waive a no-trade clause. They were allowed to walk via unrestricted free agency. So whether that was, and we weren't in the room or on the phone for the discussions, whether that was David Perron wanting more than what Army wanted to give it, whether it was Army not coming to the table with any offer, whatever it is, both people went their own way. Alex Pietrangelo, same thing. We don't know all the details of that, but they just kind of went their own way.
Right.
This is where you're specifically asked, hey, by the way, we want to trade you, but you have this thing called a no-trade clause. Will you sign off on us trading you, please? Because we're going to make a move for the best of this team, and we don't think you're a part of it.
Yep.
That's way different than walking via free agency. Trust me, I know. I never had a no-trade clause to be asked, but I got asked flat out, what team would you like to go to? I was with the Ottawa Senators. And Marshall Johnson, I give him full credit for this because he gave me an opportunity. He didn't have to, but he's like, hey, well, we're healthy now, and we see you as a 7th defenseman until there's an injury. So you're on the team, but you're not going to play a whole lot. But we have a couple offers on the table, a couple of teams on. One happen to be the Boston Bruins. That's how I'd really like to be a Bruin. And guess what? 2 days later, I was a Bruin. Mm-hmm. But that hurt. That was hard for me to be like, what do you mean? I put my friggin' left you-know-what out there for you guys, and you don't want me anymore? And to your point, Marshy, Torey Krug, what's the one thing that we really remember from the 2019 Stanley Cup Final?
Him blowing up Robert Thomas.
David Perron getting after it with Torey Krug, knocking his helmet off. Torey Krug getting pissed off at all 5'8" of them, skating down the ice, lining up Robert Thomas, and putting him out of the series.
I think it was a charge, but
It was totally a charge. But that's besides the point.
Right. But
So
that's in him.
He's not big in physical stature, and he talked about that today, that I understand it's a league full of big players, but I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to mix it up. He also talked about executing better this year. He talked about, at times last year, forcing plays, trying to do too much, trying to fix the season every shift out there. And guys that are leaders, guys that are competitors, that's what they do. They put the team on their back and they figure, it's my fault, I can fix this. In a team sport, you can't. Not even Connor McDavid can get to a Stanley Cup final right now, and he's the greatest player in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for me, Torey Krug, getting a new lease on life here with the Blues, having a chance to redeem himself, and I think he's got a chance to be a really big part of it. Watching that power play today and the way they're setting it up and what they're trying to execute out there, Torey Krug's going to be awesome in that role.
Yeah.
I think he has a really big bounce back year. I think that this was really important and therapeutic for him today to get all this off his chest. And I think it was great for him to be as honest as he was with all of us, so that we know. He said a few times, I'm a human being. I'm not a robot, I'm a human being. And so, yeah, this did affect me. This was difficult. But at the end of the day, guys, he wants to wear the blue note. I want guys that want to be in that jersey, that will scratch and claw every single day because of that jersey. Bobby Plager would have been proud of what Torey Krug said today.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys could have just shrugged it off, be like, well, we'll see how this goes. It's a work in progress, maybe still bitter about it all. He didn't portray that. If he's feeling it, he didn't portray it. And all he did for me is tell me that he wants to be here, and I want to give him an opportunity.
That's Jamie Rivers. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Some thoughts from last night's Monday night football games, including whether or not I sold the Bengals too short. I put the toe tag on them too early.
Did you ever?
That's next on 101 ESPN.
Are you looking to replace those old, nasty windows right now? Maybe they've lost their look. Maybe they've lost their functionality. You're just bleeding money from you with poor quality. Well, change that. Head over to Window World, the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. They take great care of you. First of all, I tell you right now, talking to John Gillette and all the people over at Window World, including Marshy's brother, customer service is number one. They want to make sure that you are fully satisfied and that you understand the process. They get into your home, give you a free in-home estimate. They measure up your windows. And then the window that they provide to you, second to none. It's an unbelievable window with a double-strength glass that you just don't see in normal replacement windows. It means more durability, for one thing, but it also means more efficiency. Better on your wallet. They're not just leaking out hot air or cold air in those warm and cold months. So please take a minute, get your free in-home estimate by calling them. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in too. That number is 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800, or you can look them up at windowworld.com.
2 NFL games last night. Eagles throttled the Buccaneers, and outside the Buccaneers playing well defensively the first 2 weeks and being 2-0, and I guess you got to give it to Shaky Bakey, who again looked good.
Why do you hate him?
Okay, Jamie, he looked good. He looked good.
You hate on him all the time.
I don't hate on him. I feel like I'm honest about Baker Mayfield's play.
Am I
think
wrong?
I'm hating on him?
I'm not listening to you right now. Andrew, am I wrong?
You don't love him, but you don't dislike him more than you dislike Aaron Rodgers. What you have
That's
said,
not fair. You can't compare those two. That's not fair. That's taking one extreme and trying to compare it to that.
That's right.
That's like comparing quarterbacks to Deshaun Watson's contract, to which we agreed we won't use that as a reference point. Go ahead, Andrew.
I will say, Anthony has said that Shaky Bakey does better when no one's watching. And
Thank you.
Last night, everybody was watching.
How'd he do?
He did terrible.
He was fine.
First of all,
first loss of the year. We're not going to panic down in the Bay Area.
Yeah. If you really want to know what a team thinks about about their quarterback, just look at the game plan. Last night, it was clear that they were trying to get the ball into Rachaad White's hands and let him work. The Eagles' run defense is outstanding, and that was still the game plan. You got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, you've got Cade Otton, you've got guys that can catch the ball. Your game plan against the Eagles' outstanding run defense, and don't talk to me about the rain in the second half.
That was terrible. Did you see that ball?
First half was fine.
Those balls were slippery all over the place.
First half was fine, Jamie. Conditions were fine. Jalen Hurts didn't have an issue throwing the ball.
Oh, he wears gloves.
When you looked at the first half game plan was get the ball to Rachaad White against that defense. And once it got predictably shut down, what did the Bucs do? They tried to keep running it. Baker Mayfield had 19 pass attempts last night. They took the ball out of his hands.
Because they were scared.
Case closed. Case closed. The NFC South got absolutely exposed this weekend. Falcons go up to Detroit. They score 6 points. Can't run the ball at all. If you can't run, let me rephrase. If you stop the run, you're going to beat the Falcons. Saints lose Derek Carr. Couldn't protect a 17-0 lead. They lose. And last night, Shaky Bakey and company got exposed. The whole NFC South, nice weekend for you.
Look, are the Eagles a better team? Yeah.
Yes.
But, Jalen Hurts also had 2 interceptions, Anthony. We acted like he's Joe Montana out there. What the hell's your problem?
The Eagles haven't played their best game yet, and they're 3-0. It's a good team.
Yeah, it's a really talented team that are not playing well. Mm-hmm. I look at it the other way. I think Tampa Bay is a mid team that has played pretty well, except for last night. The offense had an off night,
More interesting game.
You ever tried to hold those balls when they're wet like that?
No, never. Interesting game last night.
Anthony.
I'm sure I'll take your word for it there, Jamie. Interesting game. The second one last night was Rams and Bengals. And I've been saying that the Bengals, something not right. Joe Burrow doesn't look great. He's clearly hurt. He's hurt. He was in shotgun last night virtually all game.
He didn't even drop back. Do you see his drop back?
Yeah.
It was one step. Ball was out of his hands quickly.
He's not healthy.
Why would you put him out there? Because you're
desperate. You got to win games.
You're winless.
You're winless.
Never mind. Let me go back to the beginning of that and shut up.
Can't go to 0-3. Good for them. Good for them, because that did not look good in the first half. The Rams were moving the ball pretty good on you. And then Trey Hendrickson completely took over. I made the dumb comment yesterday, defenses have I think they got the blueprint on Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase went off last night. Good for the Bengals. That was a gritty win. The Rams, I think they're who we thought they were, to borrow the Denny Green line. They're 1-2.
Yeah,
they're not a good team.
They're actually better than what I thought they were.
They're going to be competitive. They're going to be kind of a pain.
Annoying.
They're going to be annoying.
Yes.
Yeah. Aaron Donald's going to ruin your quarterback.
He's still pretty effective, that guy.
If you can force mistakes, yeah, he is. If you can force mistakes out of Matthew Stafford, you're going to be fine.
What did you think of the Bengals' whiteout uniforms?
I liked them.
Pretty nice.
I like that. I like the white helmet more than I like the orange for them.
So the Bengals, for me, That's always been one of my favorite uniforms from when I was a kid. I thought it was pretty cool, like the Bengals the
stripe.
tiger thing and the stripes. Like, I thought, man, it's pretty cool. When I heard about the whiteout, and I'd seen it, I was like, and then I watched it, I was like, you know what?
Ooh, I thought it looked good.
I kind of like this.
Yeah. I think it looks sharp.
Yeah.
I feel like the Bengals helmets are like you either love them or hate them.
I don't see how you would hate
I love them.
for so many boring helmets that are out there with just a logo on the side. I appreciate a team that takes the time to like overdo it a little bit.
Sure.
Like, go with the theme of everything. Like the Rams, as much as I hate the Rams because they're in LA now, growing up watching Eric Dickerson play and like that, I used to love the fact that they had the ram horns into the helmet. Like, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Well,
because back then, everybody's lowering their head, too.
Right.
It's like, clack. And you're like, look, it looks like two rams, man.
They ruined those, though.
They did. I know, it's soiled forever.
With the you talking about the like
updated Ram decal on the helmet,
Yeah.
they ruined it.
Yeah, I'm talking the classic.
The classic
Yeah,
ones,
classic look.
dating up until they were here in St. Louis.
Who else has the helmets that are decorated? Like the Chargers.
Eagles.
I like the Chargers, too. I love their uniforms, though.
Yeah.
The blue.
Everybody does the baby blues. Stama.
Yeah.
The
everybody
Eagle
loves those.
wings.
Eagles. got the
Eagle wings is cool. Like,
Yeah.
why don't more teams put a little more effort into it? Like, some
don't
teams
know.
are just like,
Yeah.
so basic.
Especially the Browns. I mean, they don't have anything.
But what, like,
They're not.
guys,
the Browns jersey got orange
So the
helmets.
Browns they
what
did something
what is
similar.
a brown?
An elf.
Well, I think there's a lot of things.
That's what they do. That's what I don't know, but
They got an elf on the field.
they got that.
They
Yeah.
got orange helmets.
But what is a brown?
It's color.
I know it's a color, but it's barely on that uniform. I guess their home jerseys they have.
Their home jersey. They get on the road.
Yeah, but what
Forget
is
it.
a brown?
Again, it's a color.
It was named after Paul Brown, who was their first head coach in 1946.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Wow,
They
time to cut the cord.
It's very weird because they have an elf as their logo, but they also have fans that are dressed up as dogs.
The dog
They're
pound.
the dog pound.
The dog
Yeah.
pound. So it doesn't
Yeah, they're
make
just
any
complete.
sense.
They are. You're right. They are all over the map. They are all. The Browns have no idea. They have no idea who they are, at all.
No.
Fans are passionate though. Hard to knock them.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
man.
I just look at teams, and to me, it comes down to the effort you put into a lot of things. And just a decal on a helmet. I mean, anybody can buy a sticker and smack it on a piece of plastic, you know?
Very true. Yeah.
Anyways.
Good thoughts there. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Are you sold? We'll play that next in the Fast Lane.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cards are back in action tonight, taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. It is not Zach Thompson. Miles Michaelis will now be on the mound for the Redbirds, going up against Adrian Hauser. First pitch is at 6:40. Also tonight, we'll have Blues and Blue Jackets preseason coverage right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starting at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Once again, you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. And last night, Monday Night Football, the Eagles defeated the Bucks 25-11, and the Bengals defeated the Rams 19-16. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Fascinating on 101 ESPN. It's time for the lineup games. We'll play Are You Sold in the next segment. If you have an Are You Sold statement, too, 314-399-9646.
Suspense now.
You can always text us. We love hearing from you. We love your participation in the show. And by the way, Derek Gould's tweeting out about 15 minutes ago that it'll be Miles Michaelis tonight that takes the hill, not Zach Thompson.
What happened to Zach Thompson?
Projected to be the starter.
What happened to him?
Well, an explanation, according to Derek Gould, is forthcoming, but it could be because it lines up Michaelis's pitch, so Michaelis can pitch the finale at Busch Stadium next Sunday. Thompson will go Wednesday, so tomorrow, Dakota Hudson on Thursday in Milwaukee.
I thought maybe Zach Thompson took the Josh Hader approach and just said, "This is not in my best interest to pitch today."
Right.
Yeah.
I guess we're kind of in the playoff hunt, but not really.
Yeah, we technically are, but like, come on, wink, wink.
Jeez. That's
Quality
what you
guy,
want.
that guy.
That's what you want, a real competitor.
Go get him.
Anyways, for the Brewers, Adrian Hauser. An RHP.
This guy, he's pretty good, too.
Yeah.
All right, sounds positive. All right, this has got to be, I'm grinding, don't you think?
Of course.
Or I bet you Holly has some wacky son of a you-know-what lineup today.
He might, but
first game of the series, everybody's well-rested. You don't think, this is not the wacky one, is it?
I'm going to say Newt.
Okay. Let's grind it up, please. Show us the Newt bar.
What a shame.
Oh, but there it is.
Jamie, you alluded to it.
Show me Jose for me. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. That wasn't a final answer.
Tommy Edman. He's the only leadoff hitter.
Is it Palacios?
I would say Tommy Edman.
Okay, go ahead.
Show us Tommy Edman.
Tommy likey. Tommy want wingy.
Why is what I would say. Why?
It's the old matchup. Righty-lefty, lefty-righty, righty-righty, lefty-lefty. I don't know.
Newt is a left bat, though,
Don't
Anthony.
care. Don't care. We got it right.
So
Moving
then
on.
who's here in the two-hole?
Gold.
You think there's gold in the two-hole?
Yeah.
Some would probably feel that way.
There's gold up in them hills.
All right. Show us Paul Goldschmidt.
Gold!
What?
Rich with gold! Gold!
Okay. Is it Newt here now?
Yeah, that's a good call. Because you had Gorm in there for a long time.
Dead a left bat.
Yep.
So I'm thinking that's what we're going with. And
I agree. I think we grind it.
I couldn't agree more, Anthony. Let's grind it.
Show us Lars Taylor Tetsui Newt bar.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm grinding.
All right.
Big Willie here?
Yeah.
He's oh no, he's hurt.
He's done. He's done. Ornado's done.
Walker? It's got to be Walk It Like It's Hot.
It has been Walker. Yeah, Walker.
I think it's Walker.
It has been Walker.
Show us Walk It Like It's Hot.
Walk it like it's hot. Walk it like it's hot.
And then Richie Palacios.
Wow. Okay. You got a feeling.
Show us Richie Palacios.
Richard, do I have a mark on my face?
It really hurts.
Nope, nothing. I thought I hit you on the shoulder.
My shoulder doesn't hurt very much, but my face does.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Is this Alec Burleson now? It's 6? Is it your DH?
I think he's shut down.
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
he?
he's done too. What the hell's going on here?
It's been Baker faced the Padres and Walker the other night from
Yeah,
the
but that
6
was
hole.
Walker's a lefty.
No, Walker's a righty. Or I'm sorry, Walker's righty.
Walker's a righty?
Yeah.
What? Things I learned today. Why in my head did I have him as a lefty?
I don't know.
Huh.
I think this is Luke and Baker.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Because I think he's kind of copy and pasting for the most part.
What?
Show us Luke and Baker.
Oh, Peter.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie, this was Ivan Herrera.
I think it's Andrew Kisner tonight.
Kiz Daddy?
I think the Kiz is on the bump tonight. Michaelis likes working with Andrew Kisner very much. They're all well rested. Why would Kiz, who was this backup catcher, not become the catcher number 1?
Jamie, you sold me a Kiz Daddy. So
show us the captain.
I'm the captain now.
Look at me.
And now this has to be Jose Fermin.
Yep.
And then Mason
Wynn.
Show us the Ferminator, please.
I'll be back.
Nice.
I like what you did there.
And then show us Mason Wynn.
All I do is win, no matter what.
Not bad.
We ran the table.
We only got the
outside of the leadoff spot,
which was a curveball.
It was.
Honestly.
It was an Uncle Charlie curveball.
Sure was.
And not even on Wayno weekend.
Can't wait for that.
Me too. All right, go ahead, Marsh, run it.
All right, guys, leading off second baseman Tommy Edman, batting second, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt, batting third, center fielder Lars Taylor Tatsui Nootbaar, your cleanup hitter in right field Jordan Walker, batting fifth in left field Richie Palacios, batting sixth the DH Lucan Baker, batting seventh catching Andrew Kisner, batting eighth third baseman Jose Fermin, and batting ninth the shortstop Mason Wynn.
Back. Stay fair! Stay fair!
Go Phil!
I don't believe what I just saw! Home run!
All right, Marsh, I completely forgot what we picked on Friday.
Yeah, I just know it wasn't Mason Wynn who hit the only home run on Friday, so we still are at 995.
And we've only got today, tomorrow.
We have like a week left.
Not even.
Oh, that's right, because we don't do it on the weekend.
Exactly.
It's coming down to the wire. I believe mathematically I am officially out.
I think you are. Yeah, mathematically you're out, but you're still going to play the game because you love it so.
Well, actually, I could tie. Today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday.
You got to run the table.
I have to run the table. Can I go 4 days in a row? I don't know. I'm not Josh Hader.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it either.
That's true.
No. So, Jamie, go ahead.
What's me?
Go for it.
All right. Boy, oh boy. This has been an adventure here recently. Wow. I think I'll go with Palacios.
Good call.
He either knocks the piss out of it or doesn't hit it all. I'm going with him.
Okay. I'm going to ride the hot hand here. I'm going to go Lucan Baker.
Big Rube, huh?
Yep, I'm going to go with Big Rube. First time I've taken Lucan Baker. Maybe it's for the win.
Well, still got time left.
For the lead and then hopefully the win.
It's like a carry away.
I know, but, I hit one and then I just hold. Score the touchdown, play good defense, run the ball, get out of here.
No lead is safe, Anthony.
You're right. You should know.
Oh, I remember well.
Don't. Marsh, who you got?
Falcons.
I got to go with the guy.
Come on.
I have to go with chalk, gentlemen. My season is on the line. I have to go 4 for 4 this week. Goldie has had 31 at-bats against Hauser. He has hit 3 home runs, and he has 12 ribbies. I have to put my fate in Paul Goldschmidt.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. 6:40 tonight. Again, it'll be Miles Michaelis, not Zach Thompson, that faces Adrian Hauser at American Family Field. And if you want to feel real depressed, just know that the Brewers are 1 win away from clinching the National League Central. Cardinals are a loss away from finishing where they have never finished before, all alone in last place in the NL Central, according to Derek Gould.
Good for the Brewers. Look at their...
Yeah, whatever.
No, seriously, good for the Brewers. That's a team that people criticized the lack of moves, and were literally like, these guys are just trying to be mediocre, and now they have the chance to win the division.
They spent big. They spent big in the offseason, which we know from some Cardinals fans, that's the key.
They didn't spend at all.
So maybe that's not the key.
No,
maybe it's
I'm
just
complimenting the players.
It's just pitching and defense.
I'm complimenting.
They have a pretty solid manager too.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like an owl on a clock?
I see what you did there.
I didn't do anything. I'm just saying. I'm just stating a fact.
It was just a ricochet.
On a clock?
Yeah.
Have you seen the owls? They open their eyes super slow and big.
Cuckoo. But why would it be an owl on a clock?
Because
that's what his face looked like.
You ever seen those owls?
Like a cuckoo clock?
Yeah, cuckoo clock.
That's not an owl that comes out of there.
No, but it is an owl.
What is?
The clock is an owl with the whole structure. The framework is an owl with a clock on his chest.
What?
And then when he, cuckoo, he's got the eyes going.
No, you have a regular clock that hangs on the wall, and the little doors open up, and the bird comes out going, cuckoo, cuckoo. It's not an owl.
No, the bird comes out of
owl clocks.
Yeah,
the
bird comes out of owl clocks. You could have any kind of clock.
The cuckoo clock. That was all Anthony.
Clock.
Well, that's what yeah.
No, I said the owl clock.
Google the cuckoo clock.
You know what? He looks like the cat clock, the black cat, where his eyes are going back and forth.
That
was
Anthony. Makes more sense.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Maybe the cuckoo clock is not an owl.
Yeah, that's right, Anthony. Apology accepted. Although I know I won't get one.
I apologize for the cuckoo clock reference.
See, that's not an apology.
It is.
No.
You're right.
You should say, I apologize for being wrong.
Wait, time out. I'm not wrong. Apparently, there are cuckoo clocks that are owls. I'm looking at them right now.
You can Google anything. I guarantee there's probably a water bottle with a cuckoo clock.
I could probably get it at Amazon and ship it right to your door.
It'll be right here by the end of the day.
In about an hour. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. We'll play Are You Sold next.
Before you sell your home, you should know the facts. What's your home's true value? Which realtor is going to get you the most money? And as a seller in this market, let me do you a favor. Call Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Here's what she told me. She said the market is still in the seller's favor. However, these next few months, before the holidays present themselves, it's going to be the last prime time to sell your home. Why does Gloria know all this? Because, again, she's the best in the business, and she understands that selling your home is a stressful process, and she's going to try and get you closed quickly. And the best part about Gloria Liu is she has a database with thousands of ready, willing, and able buyers that are going to drive more traffic to your listing and hopefully sell your home for more money, which means more money in your pocket. Everybody loves that, especially if it's before the holiday season. So please, right now, pick up the phone, call Gloria Liu, tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. That number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
If you want to play the Gauntlet today, you can. Text in 314-399-9646 for your opportunity. Just text in the word Gauntlet. Again, 314-399-9646 for an opportunity to play one of us in the next 10 minutes or so. Gauntlet coming up at 4 o'clock. Right now, we're going to play Are You Sold with Andrew Marsh.
All right, guys, we had BT on earlier in the show, and he was saying that he thinks that the Cards might move away from Wilson Contreras as the everyday catcher next season. Are you sold on Wilson Contreras being the DH or taking a corner outfield spot next season?
I'm not sold on him taking a corner outfield spot, but I am sold on him being the primary DH next year and the Cardinals moving forward with either Ivan Herrera and or Andrew Kisner and
it's
or
gonna really handcuff
somebody
the team,
else.
Anthony.
I mean, is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
What if you improve your pitching? Help improve your pitching. Obviously, you still need dudes.
How about you just get pitchers who can pitch and quit worrying about the damn catcher?
Well, it's part of it, though.
No, seriously, though. Marshy, you brought up the numbers.
Yeah, you want me to read them all?
Yeah, do that, please, because
Okay.
I think there needs to be some clarification here that Wilson Contreras didn't just drop out of a pickup truck and you got this crappy catcher.
They didn't just pick him up at a gas station and tell him to play.
Correct. That's unique.
And only in hockey.
Yeah.
So in 2018, the Cubs had a 3.65 team ERA, which was third best in Major League Baseball. He caught 133 games that season, and they ended up winning 95 games, and they were a wild card team behind the Brewers, who won 96 games. I believe the Cubs had the second best record in the National League. But he caught in 133 games in that season, and like I said, they were top 3 team ERA. So did he just drop off?
Explain that to me. Explain it way better than you did your cuckoo clock, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, all jokes aside, do the Cubs pitchers just know more? Nothing changes. Quite honestly, he should have actually continued to evolve as a catcher.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, with second best ERA, World Series, 95 wins, 130 some starts-ish.
What year was that, Marsh?
This is 2018.
Okay. Was he calling his own games?
I don't know. But if that's the case, then why the hell don't the Cardinals call the game for him? Or the pitchers? Do your job.
Okay, but
I see lots of pitchers with the pitch comm on their glove.
There were a lot of issues, though, with the Cubs that came out in terms of him calling games that they didn't like. The Astros said no thanks after a deal was potentially in place at the deadline. I mean, I think there is something to the defensive stuff.
Okay, there's something to it. But to me, it can't be the number. Everybody's
nobody's saying the number one thing.
Oh, yeah, they are, actually. A lot of people are.
A lot of people are saying Wilson Contreras is the reason why the Cardinals pitching staff stinks?
Yes.
Then those people are drunk.
I don't disagree.
Or high.
But they attribute a lot of the struggles
either way
to the pitching, to the rotation, to Wilson Contreras.
Your pitching
the
wasn't.
Cardinals freaking said it.
Your
Anthony.
pitching wasn't good. Let me be clear. Your pitching wasn't good because you didn't have good pitchers this year.
Well, I think that's
where they blamed the catcher.
Okay, but let's not be short-sighted.
I'm not.
Once you get the pitchers, the right pitchers, do you have the right catcher? And if you don't have the right catcher, then he moves to
but
DH.
You're proving my point to me right now.
Okay.
Okay, because the Cubs obviously had the right pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
So the pitchers were able to overcome whatever these massive deficiencies are that Wilson Contreras has and win. So if the Cardinals go out and get good pitching, and things change, are we still so down on Contreras? Or
if things change, no.
If you go out and get Blake Snell or Aaron Nola and they're just terrible and they say, man, this guy is really not a great catcher, then you also have your answer there. It lies within that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying Wilson Contreras is, a 130 start catcher. I'm not. But I'm also not willing to just sewer a guy who has a track record of being pretty good, average defensively, certainly good offensively. And now, it's like everybody's so focused on Wilson Contreras that they're overlooking other aspects of it. I just don't get it. And is Kisner better than Contreras defensively? Yes. We had a text says, this is why I hate the numbers. Just watch the games. Kiz is noticeably better behind the plate. I didn't say that Kisner wasn't better behind the plate. My argument is not that Contreras is the best catcher out there, the best available even within your staff. My argument is that how can it be so bad that you're blaming all of this stuff with the pitching on Contreras?
I can't speak for anybody else. I'm not. I'm blaming the fact that you had a bad performance this season from a pitching standpoint.
I know, but there was enough
on the
things
pitching
alluded to by the Cardinals, management, staff, coaching, players, everybody at the start. When everything was going wrong, well, it's got to be the catcher.
Well, get better pitchers.
Here's my thing. Why are we just looking at one position, right? It's like, okay, well, Wilson can't do a good job catching. It's like, okay, well, what about Jordan Walker? You're going to throw Jordan Walker out for the whole season in right field when he's not even a right fielder. So, because we need his bat, right? Okay, you can't say one thing and then do another thing because it contradicts itself.
Sure.
If you want to be good defensively everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Right?
Yep, I agree.
And then what about the games where, like Dakota Hudson, he pitched 7 scoreless innings. Contreras was behind the dish. What happened? Just lucky?
Well, don't ask Anthony. He doesn't like Dakota Hudson.
Okay, pitcher X, Y, or Z. It doesn't matter.
It makes it personal. I don't have anything personal against
I just refuse to buy into that narrative. I don't like it.
Okay.
I think it's crap. I think it's not good teammate to do that to your guy. Does he have to be your catcher every day next year? No. But don't give me the load of bull that, man, if we can just get a defensive catcher back there. You had one. His name was Yadier Molina, and we were spoiled because Yadi was maybe the best defensive catcher in ever. But his bat wasn't great.
Yeah.
So they went and got the bat, and they got an average defensive guy. What's the difference? You flip-flop the recipe, basically.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Are you sold on Torey Krug staying healthy all year?
Torey Krug has got a pretty good track record overall as a player of being healthy. Last year, it wasn't great for him in a couple of different ways. His consistency wasn't great, but he also got injured more than he's used to. I think Torey Krug not having to go out there and change the game by himself all the time will limit some of his injuries. So I'm sold that he's going to be okay.
I was going to say the track record as well. He's got a track record of being healthy. So I don't think there's any issue with that. I'm sold that he will stay healthy.
From the 636, are you sold that Luther Burden becomes a first-round NFL draft pick when he declares whenever that is?
Yeah, I am. If the production remains there, the teams are going to fall in love with his skill set. So I think, yes, he's a first-round pick. I don't know.
Round, eh?
Yeah, I don't know if he's. At one point, we got whether or not he's going to be like a top 10 pick or even a top, 5 pick or something like that. I wouldn't go there. But when you look at kind of the profile, he's a 4.4 guy, somebody that he's listed at 6'1", 195. Look at the way the NFL game is today, with a lot of teams spreading it out. I think he's going to be a first-round pick for sure. Again, if the health is there and the production is there, yes.
Last one here from the 314. Are you sold that all the T-Swift attention will not be a distraction for Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs?
No, I'm not sold that it won't be. No,
it's already a distraction.
I tried to bring this up to Jamie yesterday. You didn't want to hear it. He's a Swiftie.
No, you blamed the girl for it. It's not her fault.
I didn't blame anybody.
You literally said it's her fault.
I asked a question, and now I'm just sharing my concerns. So
I think that from a media standpoint, it's been fun. If this continues and it continues to elevate, then it can be a distraction for the group. Maybe not even the player. But Travis Kelce, I mean, he's got some swagger to him, so I don't see this bothering him too much. And he's a real competitive guy, does his job very well. And Patrick Mahomes, I don't think it's going to bother him.
No.
But the constant media surrounding them and everybody thinking that she might be at every game and the talk becoming more about Taylor Swift and the Kansas City Chiefs. And so it's not her fault either because she's massively famous and, I mean, just a great talent. It's not her fault. But no matter what, at some point, it gets to be a lot on the group. So it's to be determined. But we'll see how it ends up.
That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter.
It's not her fault, Anthony.
I'm not saying it
Stop.
is. I'm not saying it is. I just think it's funny. You just broke that down like you would a Blues power play, and I loved it. You're so serious about it.
I was serious about it. This is a serious thing. Swifties want to know, man. Hey, Anthony, I'll tell you what. We're way better off with Swifties in our corner.
That's true.
If
That's a
they're
good point.
against us, Anthony,
it's nasty.
We're done.
Yeah, good point.
We're done.
Jamie, you have saved me a couple of times over the last 2 weeks now with your lawyer speak, and you did it again there. Nice work. Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, FanDuel Sportsbook is by far the best in the business. Why is that? Because they always have something great for their customers and their new customers as well. And right now, all customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay for the Thursday night football game. Just place a 3-leg same-game parlay on this week's game, and you get bonus bets back if you don't win.
That's right. So Packers and Lions this week, this Thursday night. You got the NFC North.
Hear me roar
matchup, and you know where Jamie's leaning. Maybe you're leaning the other way. Maybe you go Green Bay. Maybe you just look at some of the prop plays when it comes to Jared Goff or local product Sam Laporta, and you'll have an opportunity to wager on that. But NFL same game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at an even bigger payday. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same game parlays pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. Visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast, so you don't miss out on your chance to get a no-sweat same-game parlay on America's #1 sportsbook. It's FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL.
21 and over, present in Illinois. Refund issues non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Warriors, 4 categories, one challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
403, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Barry into the Gauntlet. What's up, Barry?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. You first-timer here in the Gauntlet?
Yep, first time.
All right, well, welcome into the Gauntlet. Would you like to take on Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, or me today?
I'm going to go with the guy that probably has the most concussions and get a win out of the gate. We're going to go with Jamie.
Wow.
Wow, I was really confused right there.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be me.
Some things hurt more than others, Barry. And if I could remember any of those concussions, boy, I'd be angry.
Yeah.
Good luck, my man.
Thank you. You too.
Jamie, go ahead and make it to the cone of silence there. It's around the corner. Just open the door and then go right around the corner. He'll get it. I think he's got it, Marsh. All right. So, Barry, let's get this thing going here. Tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marshy.
What are you hoping for, Barry?
Either random or hockey.
Random or hockey. Let's see here. You got one of them. What did you want more, random or hockey?
Probably random.
You got random. You got random today.
Good.
Yep. So cool. Marsh is going to give us the launch codes here. Every question is worth 2 points unless Barry or Jamie need the options today. If they need the options, those questions are only worth 1 point. All right, Barry, you ready? Thank you, Marsh.
Yep. Let's go for it.
All right, question 1. What is the Roman numeral for 1,000? What is the Roman numeral for 1,000?
Oh, I'm going to need the options on this one.
N is in Nancy, M is in mother, or K?
I'm going to go with N for Nancy.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, question number 2. Mixing this soda with a splash of Coke or Pepsi makes a combination that tastes exactly like ginger ale.
I'm going to say Sprite. Final answer.
Question number 3. Fledgling and nestling are 2 different terms for baby owl. What is the most common term for a baby owl?
I'm going to need the options.
Chick, owling, or owlet?
I'm going to go with chick.
Final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
Jamie might have a tough time with that question since it deals with owls.
That's true. It's funny that we were talking about owls today.
We'll see how it goes. Question number 4. In the most recent NBA final, the Nuggets defeated the Heat in how many games?
I'm going to go with 6. Final answer.
All right, let's bring back Jamie Rivers from the Cone of Silence. Barry, how you feeling?
No, not good.
Okay, all right. Random stuff, because I like random trivia, and then all of a sudden you get stuff that you have no idea about.
Yep, for sure.
All right, Jamie, we think is going to make his way back into the Cone of Silence.
Here he comes.
There he is. Jamie on a hop. Jamie, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How's my guy Barry doing?
Well, you better pack a lunch. That's for sure.
Really? Okay.
Jamie, how's the Cone of Silence?
It was okay today. Mike was a little late to the Cone of Silence, so I had to mess with all the dials in there.
To turn it down.
Turn everything off.
Sure.
And our guy Mike Ryder, who is going to be moving soon, bought a house.
He's all grown up.
Sent out a spam email to everybody here requesting boxes.
Wow.
I mean, I said, Mike, go get your own box.
Yeah, sure.
Leave mine alone.
Right.
He understood.
All right, Jamie, you ready?
Yeah.
Random trivia. Random trivia today.
It's so wonderful.
Question 1. What is the Roman numeral for 1,000?
No idea. Options, please.
N is in Nancy, M is in mother, or K? as in Kit Kat.
Okay. So if I'm trying to use my Roman times brain here.
Yeah.
We have N, M, and K. Okay. M. Final answer.
Question number 2. Mixing this soda with a splash of Coke or Pepsi makes a combination that tastes exactly like ginger ale.
Oh, well, Coke or Pepsi, you mix it with Sprite or 7-Up. Final answer.
Question 3.
Yeah.
Fledgling and nestling are 2 different terms for baby owl. But what is the most common term for a baby owl?
Is this for real?
Yes.
There's an owl question?
There's an owl question, yes.
What the hell are we doing here? A fledgling and a what? Fledgling?
Nestling.
Nestling.
Fledgling and nestling.
But what is the most common term for a baby owl?
Correct.
Never mind, Jamie, don't say it. Get the options, please.
Okay. Chick, owling, owlette.
I mean, chick is a baby chicken, but I wonder if it's just like universally kind of adopted. So chick, what? Owling?
Chick, owling, owlette.
An owlette. I think owlette is not it. We knew a chick. Final answer.
Question number 4. In the most recent NBA final, the Nuggets defeated the Heat in how many games?
Damn it. I got the Celtics series on my brain. They roared back to take it to 7. Was it 4 or was it 5? Five. Final answer.
All right.
I don't feel good. I'm not going to lie, guys.
Let's go over these. Let's start off with question 3. Fledgling and nestling are 2 different terms for baby owl, but what is the most common term for a baby owl? Barry, with the options, you said chick. Jamie, with the options, you said chick. Correct answer is?
It is an owling.
Wow.
Oh, come on.
It's an
Owlette.
Owlette. Yeah, I was about to say owlette.
Stay hot.
Owlette.
Stay hot. Barry, we got this.
Mixing this soda with a splash of Coke or Pepsi makes a combination that tastes exactly like ginger ale. Barry, you went with Sprite. Jamie, you went with Sprite. Or 7-Up or Sierra Minister. Correct answer is?
It is Sprite.
It is Sprite. Nice job. 2-2.
Nice.
Neither of you needed the options on that.
You know why I know that, Anthony?
Why?
Because I used to order Crown and ginger up in Canada. And a lot of places down here don't have the ginger ale. So one bartender goes, oh, I know how to make ginger ale. I need Coke and a splash of Sprite.
No kidding.
So I'd say, hey, give me a Crown with Coke and a splash of Sprite.
Nice. Nice job.
See,
there.
You're all better off for knowing that now.
Yeah, we definitely are. There's no question
Jamie's
about it.
mixology.
Yes.
Sign up now.
What is the we got a 2-2 tie right now. What is the Roman numeral for 1,000? Barry, with the options, you said N. Jamie, with the options, you said M. Correct answer is?
It is M.
M. So Jamie has a 1-point lead.
You don't even want to know my reasoning behind that.
Final question. In the most recent NBA final, the Nuggets defeated the Heat in how many games? Neither of you needed the options on this one or used the options. Barry, you went 6. Jamie, you went 5. If it's 4 or 5 games, Jamie wins today. And we know that the Heat weren't swept, so Jamie needs to nail this at 5. Because if it's 6, Barry's going to win by a point. Barry.
Yeah.
You have chosen poorly.
It was 5 games. Jamie wins today. Did not need the options on that. So Jamie
Basketball's
with a 5-2 victory today. Sorry, Barry. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
That's all right. Good job, Jamie.
Thanks, Barry. Hey, go have a crown with Coke and a splash of Sprite for me, okay?
Will do, man. Have a good one.
There you
Have
go.
a great one, bud.
Excellent. Nice job, Jamie. That was a tough one. You got
5.
All of them right except for the chick question. Nice job.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, we knew he wanted to get the owl question right.
Yeah, he
didn't know anything about the owl clock.
He knows nothing about owls. Nothing.
I'm surprised you didn't get the final question right off the bat, considering that you and I were very adamant that the Nuggets would win in 5 games.
Yeah, but I had to go over the celebration. This is how I got there, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought to myself, where were they spraying champagne? And I knew it wasn't in Miami. Or no, it was in Miami.
It was in Miami.
So I even screwed that up and got it right.
So it was in Denver.
Was it?
Well, yeah, Game 5 was in Denver.
Don't they go 2-3-2 in the NBA?
No, that's only Major League Baseball.
That's right, 2-2.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
2-2.
So, okay, then my reasoning was correct.
Yeah, you were correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have some people on the text line that say, justice for the listener, Jamie is allowed to give 2 answers. Last time I checked 7-Up, was probably 2 different things. Well, if they listen to the question says Coke or Pepsi, right?
And the answer does say Sprite, accepts 7-Up, Sierra Mist, etc.
What does the question say?
Mixing the soda with a splash of Coke or Pepsi makes a combination that tastes exactly like ginger ale.
So if it's Coke and I go with 7-Up, which is a Pepsi product, so that's why I gave them both, because the question gave me both products.
If just to clarify again, Grant did a great job on this because he said accept 7-Up, Sierra Mist, etc. So if Barry said 7-Up,
we would have gave it to him.
Yeah.
Jamie just happened to say Sprite or 7-Up.
Yeah, we're not brand loyal here.
No. So
at least the sodas.
Either way. Yeah. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. There's no justice for the listener. Barry wouldn't want that. Barry got one question right. Barry doesn't want to win that way. You know, come on. And I think honestly, would it have mattered if we took the 2 points away? No, it wouldn't have mattered. Jamie still would have won 3-2.
Oh,
so.
Just clarifying things, Anthony, you know?
I hear you.
Try to keep it real here.
That's right. We're going to keep it real about the Colorado Avalanche and how they stack up against the Blues next in the Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jocelyn on 101 ESPN. Time for the NHL Central Division preview.
Yeah.
The Colorado Avalanche are today. Jamie.
Why?
What do we need to know about the Avalanche and how the Blues stack up against the Avs?
Well, Anthony, first thing you need to know is it's a pretty good hockey club over there.
In what ways?
Pretty much all of them. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pretty good team.
Okay.
The Stanley Cup champions a couple of years ago, and the one thing we got to remember is that they had a lot of injuries last year. This is a team that got plagued with injuries to some key pieces of their lineup. So, and they still have a very big injury to their captain, Gabriel Landeskog, who is hoping to return possibly for the playoffs this year. He's been out almost 2 seasons now. Started at the beginning of last season, going into this season, and could possibly be the entire season. We don't know officially yet. But that's a big blow to the Avalanche. But in return, they've kind of backfilled and went and got some pretty good players. They still have Nathan McKinnon.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty good player, Anthony. Pretty fast.
I would say so.
Pretty good goal scorer.
Yeah.
111 points last year. Mikko Rantanen is also a pretty good player. He only had 105 points last year. But here's the drop-off. Next guy up was way down there. Cale Makar had 66 points, then 52 for JT Compher. So that's a 45, 50-point swing. So this team revolves around those two guys. Now, in fairness, Cale Makar only played 60 games. He had 66 points. He'd have been in the 80-point-ish club. But even after that, that's a massive drop-off to 52 points then. So this team lives and dies with Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, and Cale Makar. Mm-hmm. Which is great for them, but not great, or which is not great for opposing teams, but it also is, because you know who to focus on.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Oilers with Draisaitl and McDavid last year. It's a hell of a team, but if you can find a way to slow down the big boys, you give yourself a chance to win. Mm-hmm. Vegas Golden Knights, were they as talented as the Oilers were? No, they weren't. Man for man? No. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, they had some serious horses in their lineup. But Vegas had a team that had some good goal scorers, some gritty guys. Their top players were 200-foot guys. Their top defensemen, we know them pretty well. Alex Pietrangelo plays pretty good back there, and they just crowded the middle of the ice and made life miserable for the Avalanche. So that being said, if you break down this team, you have a pretty big job to do, which is to just kind of handle those two guys. Now, the Avalanche, will get Valeri Nichushkin is back. He had some controversial stuff going on in the playoffs last year. I don't really even know what the hell the real story is. But the one piece that they did add, that I don't know if this is a hit or a miss. There's 2 pieces, actually, that they added that I don't know if they're a hit or a miss yet. Ryan Johansson. We know him from the Nashville Predators and formerly, before that, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Talented individual, but also difficult regarding coaching and all-around game, and sometimes rubs his teammates the wrong way. So we'll see how that works with Jared Bednar and the Colorado Avalanche. Because if he is what he can be, then that's problematic. He's an 80 to 90-point guy. So that bridges the gap between some of the top guys and the rest of the herd.
Right.
Also, another one that was kind of a head-scratcher from a roster standpoint, not financially, it was a no-brainer, but Jonathan Drouin, who was a really big breakout type guy, Tampa Bay Lightning, high draft pick. They traded him to Montreal Canadiens, thought it was going to be great. Never has been. He's had some off-the-ice problems, issues. He's been a difficult guy to coach. So he's looking for a second chance, or third chance, I guess, at this point. If he is a version of the player that you thought you were getting when you drafted him so high way back when the Lightning did, then also that will be another 60-ish point player. So adding a little more offense to their roster, but that's a really big if. And then on defense, you've got your usual suspects. Cale Makar, Devon Tays, he was a real big part of their success last year. Josh Manson, Samuel Girard. Curtis McDermott, Byron Bowen. That's a solid defensive core. And then between the pipes, Georgiev and Francouz are their goaltenders. Georgiev had some highs and lows. His ceiling is high. His floor is low. He was somewhere in the middle last year. But if he has a good year, he's a big part of that team as well.
So how much have the Blues closed the gap from where they were a year ago?
Yeah, look, you're never closing the gap on a guy like Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah.
And not unless you have Connor McDavid. I mean, if you're going to have, like, nuclear warfare, both sides have to have it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think the Blues have done is, when I look at this lineup top to bottom at the forward position for the Avalanche, a couple of high-end guys in Rantanen and McKinnon, you don't have that. But you do have Thomas and Kyrou, who could tickle 90, 95 points this year, which is not far off. It's not that far off. But the rest of the Blues forward core, I think the balance is better. I really do. I feel like they're deeper as a forward group. You look at some of these guys, Johansson, we don't know. Arturi Lehkonen, he's okay. Miles Wood, he's a checker. Thomas Tatar, he's a little older now. 32 years old. He's been so-so.
Yeah.
I think the Blues overall have a better forward group. And I know that sounds crazy because they have McKinnon and Rantanen, but you have to kind of get past that to where if you're in a 7-game series, your forwards might be able to wear down their forwards. When it comes to the defensive core, you've got work to do. I mean, Cale Makar is one of the most elite defensemen in the NHL. I don't even know. You don't have an answer for that. He would be by far your number one defenseman. Heck, he's one of the best defensemen, period. Top 3, probably in the NHL.
Yeah.
So the gap is there. Samuel Girard, he's fine. Josh Manson, he's good. He's fine. Devon Toews is good. If your top 4 defensemen can play like they have in the past, they match up with those guys. They match up just fine. Now, Byron Boehm, he is a really good player. He's going to continue to take steps forward. Curtis McDermott is a big, heavy, burly defenseman. Clears the front of the net, throws the mitts down. So the bottom of this D-core probably goes to the Avalanche. The middle of it would be equal, and the top of the D-core is by far advantage Avalanche. Then between the pipes, I like the tandem of Binnington and Hofer more than I like the tandem of Georgiev and Francouz. I just think that Francouz he's fine, but, you haven't really heard of him too much. He's 33 years old, and Georgiev, was kind of all over the map last year. So if Binnington bounces back with a really good season and Joel Hofer has the type of season that we think he can have from a development standpoint, I would give a slight edge to the Blues goaltending.
There you have it. There's your Central Division preview of the Colorado Avalanche. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We're going to do NFL stock market buy, sell, or hold. And Marsh has got kind of an interesting tier for us today. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, I want to change people's lives today. Okay? I want to change their lives. I want to send them over to Mentality. That's what I want to do. So, guys, if you're driving around or you're sitting around right now and you're feeling tired on a regular basis, if you just don't have the energy at home or at work, or maybe your sexual drive is taking a big dip for the worse, not good, right? Head over to Mentality. Walk in, tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you in. They will change your life. They do a blood panel, and they put together a program unique to you, the individual, that's going to help you thrive.
Yeah, maybe to piggyback off of what Jamie just said, maybe you feel frustrated a lot, or maybe you come in and you feel like you're taking it out on the family too much. And you're like, man, what is going on? I got to do something about this. I have to fix this. Or maybe you're tired of the excuses, or Monday rolls around. You're like, you know what? I'll get to the gym on Monday. And then Monday happens and nothing happens. Fix it. Head down to Mentality. Tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you in there. Go through the process of telling them how you're feeling. No embarrassment there. Jamie and I did it. A lot of men do it, and they say, look, I'm not feeling like myself. I'm not feeling like I'm optimal, right? I'm not efficient throughout the course of the day. I want to be better at work, family, and otherwise. Mentality is going to help.
Yeah,
but you got to go down there.
You got to go down there, visit them. If you can't do that, you need more information, or you just want to read up on them, or set up an appointment for that matter, just go to lowtusa.com. Again, that's Mentality at lowtusa.com.
.101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cards are back in action tonight, taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Miles Michaelis is on the mound tonight for the Redbirds, not Zach Thompson, who was originally supposed to go for the Cards. It's Miles Michaelis going up against Adrian Hauser. First pitch is at 6:40. The Blues are in action tonight, going up against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Some preseason action for you tonight right here on 101 ESPN. Pre-game starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We will be joined at 4:45 by Joe Vitale, so stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we have NFL stock market buy, sell, or hold. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Time for NFL stock market buy, sell, or hold. And Marsh, you have a specific category for us today, right?
Yes. So last week, I believe we got into some playoff teams that we were thinking, hey, are we going to buy, sell, hold on some of these teams if they're playoff teams? Today, I want to look at some teams that are under 500 and see if we still have faith in them.
Ooh. Okay.
So let's start off with the New England Patriots. They are 1-2. Are you going to buy, sell, or hold New England?
I love you, New England Patriots, but I'm selling. Your division, the top two teams are far better than the bottom two teams, and you barely beat the New York Jets, who are really bad right now. Zach Wilson's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, poor Joe Namath is calling for him to be traded.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? So I'm going to sell on the Patriots. I don't see them being a playoff team.
I'm going to sell on them, too. I really like their defensive front seven. I really like Ramondre Stevenson, even though he's off to kind of a slow start thus far. I do not like the overall team speed on defense. And Mac Jones, if you watch him play, there's a lot to be desired right now. He's had opportunities to win games, and he hasn't. I mean, you watch everybody else, right? Like you watch QBs around the league. And I think we tend to defend the ones that we really like. You know, there's a lot of, hey, Justin Fields, it's somebody else's fault. If you hear all of the blame going around to like the offensive lineman or the offense coordinator or the head coach or the wide receivers, if you kind of run through the gamut and you're left with the quarterback himself, it's time to blame the QB. When you look at Mac Jones, we said, oh, it was OC last year, right? It was the offense coordinator's fault last year. And maybe it was to some degree, but Bill O'Brien knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Bill O'Brien should probably deserve more credit for what he did with Deshaun Watson in Houston, for that matter. This is not the...
Well, on the field.
On the field, certainly. Yeah, thought that was implied, but I'm glad you mentioned it anyways. Sure. I think Mac Jones, again, he leaves a lot to be desired. I don't think he's been impressive, so I'm going to sell.
I'm going to sell as well. I don't think that I can buy a team that barely beat the Jets.
Yeah.
They're crumbling right now.
Had they had Joe Namath under center instead of Zach Wilson, the Jets may have won that game. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe.
For sure.
They could have put Mark Sanchez in there. He could have fumbled the ball. They still would have won.
Something to think about.
Whoa. Let's not get carried away.
Yeah, what I said was fine.
What are you talking about? You brought him to an AFC championship.
Joe Namath is way better than Mark Sanchez, as they sit right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marsh was just a perfect. All right. Okay.
You say whatever.
All right, I'm excited. All right. Last night, the Cincinnati Bengals played the Los Angeles Rams. The Bengals picked up a win. They are now 1-2. Are you buying, selling, or holding on the Bengals?
Anthony, I don't have as much detail as you on this team. I'm selling. Your star quarterback, who is your team, who single-handedly brought you to a Super Bowl and single-handedly made you competitive the next season following that, he's been injured. You can tell. I'm selling.
I never bought the stock. I don't need to sell it. I never had it. You're right, Jamie. You watched Joe Burrow last night, and he doesn't look healthy.
Barely moving.
Yeah. It's not good. They're playing him. They need to play him. I'm sure he wants to play. Good win for them last night.
Who do they play next week? Because I feel like there is I'm going to take a look here. You can keep talking.
They're already going to Titans.
And then the Cardinals. So here's where I bet you their head was at on it. They're 0-2 on the season. They thought to themselves, we can get right back into this with 3 wins in a row against some crappy teams, but we need Joe Burrow to go.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, Seahawks, 49ers, Bills. It gets to be a bit of a gauntlet there.
Right. He can't move. Joe Burrow can't move.
No.
You got by last night.
He's stepping back.
Yeah.
He's taking a one-step drop.
He's throwing all arm.
And it's short routes, too.
Yep.
They kept it really, tight for him.
I agree.
I'm going to hold. I'm still holding out hope for Joey B. So I'm going to hold on them, but I'm not too confident moving forward. But getting a win last night, it's the start of something. So,
certainly.
Next team, Jacksonville. Buy, sell, or hold?
Ooh.
I'm I'm going to buy while the stock is low on Jacksonville. They have not looked good early on. They could have lost to the Colts in that Week 1 matchup. They didn't look good against Kansas City. They definitely, they got destroyed last week against the Texans, but this is kind of a get-right spot for them in London against a Falcons team that is very limited offensively. So if they can slow down the run, they can pick up a win before they got to play Buffalo. But I'm gonna buy while it's low, while the stock is low right now. They've got some winnable games. It's a very winnable division. So I think they'll get better as the season wears on.
Yeah, I'm also going to buy. And the reason I'm buying is I just looked at their schedule, and the way I looked at it, as it sits right now, they have 9 wins that, to me, are guarantees. You mix in a few more that they battle, play good, play above their potential. You're at a 10 or 11 win season. That guarantees you that division. Heck, 9 wins might guarantee you that division. So, like Anthony, stock's a little low right now. I'm going to buy some of that up. The potential of a nice profit is available.
I'm also going to buy. They are 4-5 in games in London. However, Trevor Lawrence looks like sunshine from Remember the Titans, which is a Disney movie, and Toy Story is actually covering the game on Disney this weekend. So they're going to be running around like little toys on the television screen.
Is that how it's going to be shown?
Yes.
Like in the promo code? The promos?
Yeah, I think so.
That's going to be interesting.
So I'm going to go with Jacksonville this upcoming week. Spoiler. So I'm going to buy them this week and moving forward. So next team is the Chargers, who got bailed out this weekend. 1-2, though. Are you buying, selling, or holding?
I'm going to hold for now. It would have been an easy sell if they had lost in Minnesota. It probably should have lost. I'm going to hold, though. The amount of talent that they have on that team, starting with Justin Herbert, who I really like, I think they can still kind of figure this out. That division doesn't look daunting either. It's KC, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders aren't good. The Broncos are trash. They've got some winning game. They get some winning opportunities here. So I think they're going to stay in it.
Yeah, I'm holding. I'm holding on this as well. I think that offensively, this team has been, they've been really good all year. The defense has been a little porous at times, to say the least, and coaching has been suspect as well. So all those things in there, you still have Justin Herbert.
Yep.
And for that reason and that reason alone, at this point, I'm holding on the Chargers.
All right, there you have it. Buy, Sarah holds here in the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Oh, sorry, Marsh, go ahead.
I'm holding as well. They should have lost that game.
Oh, never mind. I forgot. They played.
But they should have. Their coaching is not good.
Your guy shouldn't have thrown an interception.
I don't care. I'm looking past that. I'm looking past
that too.
I'm just. Let's get to Joe Vitale.
Joe Vitale next on 101 ESPN.
Jamie Rivers here. I want to talk to you fellas about ED meds. Yeah, that's right. Don't care if you're taking them. What I do care about is that you're paying too much for that. You shouldn't be penalized for all that stuff, right? So go to the medicine shop in St. Charles, your destination for cheap ED meds. They have a generic called Sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Prescription, of course, is required. They got the full pharmacy available for you, too. So if you want to get in there, you have questions, my pharmacy family, they're going to take great care of you. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in, too. They love to hear that. But cold and flu season and lots of other things going on right now, maybe you're just not sure. Well, they're going to help you out. They're going to point you in the right direction. Customer satisfaction is the number one thing for my friends over at the medicine shop in St. Charles. And if you have a medicine prescription that you need on a regular basis that maybe you don't have time to get to the pharmacy, maybe your life is busy, your schedule's just nuts, well, don't worry about it. The medicine shop has free, discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace. I take full advantage of that program. I absolutely love it, and you will too. So please stop by and say hi to them. But if not, stop by online at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
Vitale views things a little differently. Just imagine how he looks at hockey. Whoa! This is The View from Vitale, brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to our celebrity line. Actually, you know what? Joey Vitale is going to be calling us here in a second, so we'll get Joey on the line, and then we'll talk to Joey. Our first chat of the NHL season with Joey Vitale.
I was talking with Joey this morning at the rink.
At the rink?
Yeah.
Yeah, interested in his thoughts on not only the team overall, but just kind of Torey Krug's comments. Torey Krug talking today about, how, look, time to move forward here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the situation in the offseason, talking about the potential trade and things like that. Yeah, it, of course, it impacts you, but I signed for 7 years, is what he said. I'm paraphrasing, but Torey Krug said I signed for 7 years. I want to be here. So let's get Joey Vitale's thoughts. Joey, of course, on the call tonight. Blues and Blue Jackets pregame starting at 6 o'clock. Joey will be alongside Chris Kerber, voice of the Blues. What's up, Joey?
Hey, boys, doing really good. Long off season, certainly ready to get back after tonight.
No doubt. So, Joey, we haven't talked to you in a while, man. What is the thing that you are, if you were like, all right, my biggest question heading into the season is, what would that be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like I should be prepared for a question like that, but no one's ever asked me that.
I'm sure you've been asked that 9 times already today.
No, and I'm not even being sarcastic. No one's even asked me that. So this is top-notch journalism on your end. I'm excited to see what this leadership group is going to be like. We talked to Jamie was there as well. We talked to Craig Berube and Doug Armstrong a lot. I think an underlying issue so much of last year, which a lot of people just didn't know about, the broadcasters, we got bits and pieces here and there, but we didn't probably realize the severity of it. I think last year one of the biggest issues just certainly was, from the coaching staff, had their messaging, they had their systems, they had their, let's call it their identity of how they wanted to play. Every good team has the coaches that come up with this formula. The next step is you give it to the leadership group, and the following step is the leadership group holds everyone accountable to that. Last year, everyone was very upfront and honest about the fact that there was some sort of disconnection from when it went from the coaching staff to the leadership group. The disconnection came then from the leadership group and holding everyone on the team accountable. So I think in order to get this thing back on the right tracks this year, I'm going to keep an eye on Braden Shen. You look at the Torey Krugs and the Falks and the Parekos and certainly the younger core and Robert Thomas and Buchnevich to kind of see what that messaging is from the coach and can this new, I would call the newish group of guys that are going to be that leadership group, can they certainly keep everyone accountable? And when things go awry, it's not always the coaching staff trying to get things back on the track. It's the guys that's in the room.
Yeah, good call.
Joey, you talk about Torey Krug, and today Torey Krug addressed the media and answered, quite honestly, he answered all the questions. There was no dodging anything. There was no comment. And I'm not so worried about what he said, but in your eyes, the fact that he just stood there, answered all the questions, was very honest with the media, I thought it showed great leadership. And what I loved about it is that he said that he signed here because he wanted to be here in St. Louis for 7 years, and he wants to wear the blue note. That has to carry some weight in the locker room.
I think so, Jamie. You and me were talking outside the rink this morning about that. And, first of all, I think it was very professional of him to just be upfront and honest and answer the questions. We've seen this in the past with the Blues team. You see it in all sports for that matter. When things off the ice, similar to this with the contract situation or, a proposal or a trade, and then the players come back, let's look at Vladimir Tarasenko, for example. I don't know if Vladdy really wanted to handle that head on. I think that at times some questions came about. And, Vladdy, his thing was, I just don't want to talk about this. And it was kind of swept under the rug for the most part. And I actually think it's really admirable, Torey, to get in front of it and say, hey, I am aware of what happened. I'm a human. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it stung a little bit. But at the same time, he has to approach it and he has to hit it head on and he has to respond to it. I think of Torey Krug, and I think that his comments were so bang on. And this is what we love about Torey and this is one of the reasons why he signed that big deal. He is a competitor. We see it every day. I think he's always been a smaller guy with a chip on his shoulder. You know, you come out of Michigan, he was never drafted. I think he was basically Carolina and Boston were the only two teams that were interested. You know, he ends up going to Boston. There's that chip, never drafted, you know, not really desired or wanted. He had to prove a lot of people wrong in Boston, and he did it to the point where he made 2 Stanley Cup finals, still hasn't won that cup yet. And I think he still has a lot of that in him. You know, he's had a very business-like approach this training camp. I would say this is the most serious I've ever seen Torey off the ice. I get along great with him. We have a great relationship. We're always handing it up. We're always joking around. But I would say of all the training camps, and at least the time I've been around him, this is the most business-like and serious he has been. So I think he's coming in with that business-like approach. And I think at the end of the day, that's the kind of mindset you have to have when you're either Torey Krug or anyone on this team for that matter. You know, Robert Bortuzzo was another one. I sat by him at the stall the other day. Longest tenured Blue. I almost approached him with, man, another training camp. This is kind of starting to get exhausting by you. And he actually flipped it over. He flipped it right back on me. He's like, no way, man. I gotta get dialed in here. I gotta treat this like it's my first training camp. I want to get another year contract. I want to stick around this league just a little bit longer. I'm not ready to hang it up yet. So, listen, guys, there's a lot of veterans on this team that are coming out with a completely different attitude than they did last season, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all transpires on the ice.
Yeah, Joey, that's the one thing that I've noticed, and I know you and I have talked about it a little bit, but this team right now, from a leadership standpoint and I guess the culture, seems really dialed in. And now from a hockey player perspective, as far as the roster construction is, this to me, with the players that could potentially be in this lineup, this to me seems like the exact team that Craig Berube has wanted to coach stylistically.
Yes, I agree. And you heard Torey Krug, he touched on it just briefly in his press conference or his media scrum today. He talked about how big the forwards are. I mean, if you really dig in and you look around the entire league, and I did this just with the Central Division, I haven't gone beyond that just yet, but let's assume that Hayes is your third line center. Let's assume Sundqvist is your fourth line center. And then on the wings, you got Sammy Blais, right? You got Toropchenko. I mean, you have players like Jake Neighbors. I mean, some absolute big bodies down there that can get up and they can scoot and they can move bodies. You know what I mean? So Mackenzie McEachran's another one. I'm talking a big, heavy set of bottom six. You know, this is something they have not had. Like you said, Jamie, probably in the last couple seasons. You know, ever since that cup run, I would say they've really kind of gotten away from this. You know, you lose Sonny to a trade, and then you lose Alexander Steen because he retired. I mean, they never really got back to that. I think they've always used the third and fourth line as an opportunity for young players to get called up and just put them on the third line, let them figure it out, whether it be an Alexandrov or anyone like that. But now I think that they're almost reshaping this team to say, hey, the third and fourth line, not only do they matter, but they matter a lot because they're a huge part of our success. So I really look at this team as not being a top-heavy team in the first two lines, and then let's just figure out whoever's going to be there in the bottom two. I think they're looking for big bodies that are going to want to forecheck and hit and stay on the forecheck. You know, Jamie, you and I were talking to Chief last week. One of the things that really stuck out to me was that last year they were a rush team, you know, and I don't know if Craig Berube really enjoyed people talking about his team, saying they're a great rush team. You know what I mean? They were a great rush team, don't get me wrong. But Craig Berube, I don't think he really wants a rush team. I think he's happy with scoring off the rush, but I don't know if he wants the identity to be we're a team that can attack and hurt you off the rush. I think you want that, but you also, the other part of the identity and the other part of the MO of this team has to be you're a forechecking team, you chip in, you're going to go bang, and you're just going to beat people up. And I think that that's what is so important about having a big, heavy bottom six like the forwards are certainly shaping up to be.
Joe, we know that you got a lot of work to do ahead of tonight's game. So Blue Jackets will let you go. Pregame starting at 6 o'clock. So about an hour. So we got the pregame. You guys have a great call tonight, and we're inching very close to the regular season.
Sounds good, fellas. Hey, I always enjoy these talks with you guys, and we'll chat with you next week.
Same. Thanks, Joey. Appreciate you. That's Joey Vitale here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Good stuff there.
Anthony Stalter. Yeah, it's always good to talk to Joey. Joey's got he's just got this energy about him.
Got good perspective too.
He does. Absolutely. What's trending is next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
on in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered with what's trending now.
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill and get a Lion's Choice sandwich coupon.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, according to Derek Gould, Adam Wainwright's last pitch for the St. Louis Cardinals will be one that he threw to finish 7 shutout innings in his 200th win. He will remain on the active roster. There are batting gloves in his locker. An at-bat is being discussed, but not promised.
Well, further information on that, and I think Ollie Marmol said that it would depend on if the Reds are still in a playoff hunt or not. I think Ollie doesn't want to disrespect another team by sending up Adam Wainwright. No disrespect to Adam Wainwright, but as a novelty batter with someone's playoff hopes are on the line.
Yeah, I respect that. At the same time,
I don't think one at-bat's going to change the outcome of their season.
And you know what? You had 162 games to decide your fate. Plus, have you seen the Cardinals lineup these days? I mean,
it's a winning lineup, Anthony.
It's not like Adam Wainwright's going to alter things that much. Just my thought.
What if he hits a bombzilla?
Yeah, well, good.
3-run ding-dong.
And you don't deserve to go to the playoffs, you know?
Well, it wouldn't be against them.
I don't care, Jamie. That's the thing. I don't care.
I do, Anthony. Maybe that's the problem, is I care.
Just let Waino bat on Waino weekend.
That's what I'm saying anyways.
Hit the ball out of the yard and then knock your voice out of the yard and serenade these fine folks with Waino's weekend.
Yeah, I'm the one that said I want the pitcher to basically throw underhand so he can freaking knock it out of the park.
Drop your home run ball on somebody's face and then put your sweet melodies in somebody's ears after the game. That's what I'm saying, Jamie.
Well said.
Guys, I want to read off a stat line from a college quarterback. And I want you to, one, try and guess who that quarterback is.
Brady Cook.
And tell me.
Brady Cook.
Now I know how BT feels.
Well, one.
Was it Brady Cook?
Yeah, I can't believe you said it. I sent this to Marshy, and I wasn't going to answer it because obviously I sent this to Marshy.
Yeah.
The game was supposed to be for you, Anthony, but Marshy, go ahead.
Brady Cook!
Yeah. Nolan Arenado.
I did know Nolan Arenado, though, not to say Nolan Arenado.
So, Marshy...
This one I actually didn't know.
So our listeners understand as to why you were about to play this game. Can you read off some of the numbers?
Yeah, so Brady Cook
comparables
has 1,100 total yards, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Let's compare him to Caleb Williams, who everyone thinks is the best quarterback in college football. He has 939 total yards, 13 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
And there's a couple others that are
There's a couple others. We have Michael Penix Jr. from Washington, who is now Anthony's favorite football team. By the way, I was playing a little MLB The Show last night with one of my buddies, and he goes, have you been paying attention to the Washington Huskies football team? And I go, no, I haven't, but that's funny because I know you, Anthony, brought them up yesterday. I'm like, no. And he's like, you need to start paying attention. They're they're one of the best offenses in college football. I go, geez, okay. Like, I'll watch them.
Enough with the Washington Huskies talk.
But you also have Jordan Travis on there from Florida State, Quinn Ewers of Texas, J.J. McCarthy of Michigan, Sam Hartman of Notre Dame, and Shadur Sanders from Colorado. All of them also in this Heisman Watch graphic that Jamie sent me. Brady Cook is missing from that graphic. What is up with that?
So I guess the question ultimately is, everybody is hyping up some of these other quarterbacks so much right now. Realistically, none of them have really played like tough games yet. Brady Cook is right there in the mix, better than some of these guys, and right in and around other guys, yet nobody's talking about Brady Cook.
I think it's because it's about preseason expectations, and we're just not to the point yet where people are going to say, what I thought about Caleb Williams is not true. So let's alter things.
I'm more
here.
so the line of why are they not talking more about Brady Cook with those numbers and the comparables to being the best quarterbacks in all of college football?
Yeah.
Now, we're not at the finish line. We don't know what it looks like at the end of the season, but as it sits right now, he's right there amongst the group.
Well, win games like the Kansas State game, win more of those, and you're gonna be talked about. But look, we're talking about Mizzou here. We're not talking about USC or Caleb Williams coming off the Heisman. We're not talking about Quinn Ewers, who last year, had he not gotten hurt, he probably would have helped Texas beat Alabama then did go into Tuscaloosa this time and beat Alabama. Michael Penix Jr. is putting up video game numbers and not even playing like all of the second half of games. Caleb Williams, I don't think, played all the second half in at least one of the games early on. So it's going to take a lot for the national media to recognize what Mizzou is doing. You beat LSU in 2 weeks, you'll have everybody's attention. So to me, Jamie, and I feel like you're this way too. It's an opportunity for Mizzou to put itself on the map, to force people to start paying attention to them. Win against Vanderbilt, which you should, and then pull off the upset next week against LSU.
It's a tall order.
Florida State boat raced them in the second half this year.
Florida State's
Arkansas nearly
Florida
beat them.
State's a pretty good team, man.
Arkansas, LSU had its hands full with Arkansas last Saturday. LSU's really good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't view them in the same light as I do Georgia, who you almost beat last year. Let's go.
Yep.
I think they run the table.
Marsh is all in.
I'm all in
on the Tigers. Now, is that LSU Tigers or Mizzou Tigers?
Guys, tonight we have the Blues taking on the not the Blackhawks, the Blue Jackets.
Blue Jackets,
Blues and Blue Jackets. I'm sure they'll play the Blackhawks.
Yeah, they'll play them at some point. 2 days from now.
Oh, the old Black Jackets.
2 days from now.
The Black Jackets. Yes, the Grease Lightning.
That's a cool name for like a team, the Black Jackets.
Sure.
Instead of the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
But the Yellow Jacket's actually a thing.
Well, why can't we make it the Black Jacket?
I was thinking the characters from Grease, you know, the guys from
Grease.
The Thunderbirds. Yeah, but they all wear black jackets, have their hair slicked back.
Sure.
You know.
They're the cool guys.
Sure they are.
Anybody else love how like they're the baddest kids in the school. They're out there singing. Doing their thing.
That's like High School Musical, the basketball player.
It is.
He's,
can't be tough and sing?
You can.
Wow.
I don't know.
Tell that to Wayne Newton. Black belt in karate, that guy. Tell that to Elvis Presley.
I'm just saying, typically, Jamie, I don't think you see all the baddest, roughest guys in the school, and they walk out there to the open air and just decide to jump into a number.
Interesting.
About the leaders' summer, you know?
Summer love had me a blast.
Yeah. I would love to see some, like, not behind the scenes thing, but just like maybe someone could make a TikTok of it where these guys are singing. I mentioned High School Musical. You have Zac Efron. You like walk into the gymnasium to like just grab something you forgot from gym class, and these guys are practicing with their singing songs and like dribbling the basketball, like just like a close-up shot of your face. Like, what the hell are they doing?
I feel like I need it in my life now. Like I want that to happen. Anthony, I want to walk in one day to the office. And you and Marshy are in a full duet about something. About like your lunch.
Yep. We're just singing our hearts out,
like
Jamie.
You're singing.
Yeah.
And then where it goes to a spot, and Marshy picks up with a rap, like right in the middle of it. Kind of like Linkin Park.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like singing, then it drops into the dropping the rhymes, and then back to you for the serenading.
Absolutely.
And I stand there, wonder what the hell is going on.
But then at the end,
ask you for whatever you're drinking.
All you do at the end is you feel your hands just.
Oh, I jump in. I feel like offering a little bit of beat on the desk or something.
Well, those guys they got a whole team.
Yeah, they
of
have
dancers.
Absolutely. Wow. Anyways, the Blues take on the Blue Jackets tonight, 7 p.m. Puck drop, 6 o'clock pregame. Of course, we'll have that right here on 101 ESPN. But I'm looking at some of the players in the game lineup tonight. Jamie, who is one player tonight that really needs to prove himself heading into the rest of the preseason?
One player specifically?
It could be one player. It could be one forward, one defenseman.
Let's go one forward, one defenseman.
Cool.
Let's go Scott Perunovich, because this is a big question mark. Not that he's a good hockey player. He's extremely talented. Watching him today, I mean, he's smooth. He moves the puck well. He makes good puck decisions. But the ultimate question is, can he play a regular shift against NHL talent and stay healthy and contribute defensively? So I think he has something to prove. Nick Ritchie, I think he's got something to prove, too. He's brought in here on a PTO, which means he's on a tryout. No guaranteed contract anywhere, let alone here with the Blues.
Yeah.
And I feel like his presence has to be felt. Watched him in the first game in Wichita, which was, it was a tough game. It was, the ice wasn't great and whatnot, but I felt like he could have been a little more involved. I felt like there could have been a little more hunger there from a guy that doesn't have a contract of any kind. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'd like to see him tonight, bounce back with a solid game and separate himself from other guys. He's on a line with Sundqvist and Toropchenko. I mean, that's a great line for him to be playing with. That's a line that you could envision playing on the fourth line for your St. Louis Blues this season at some point. I think he has to go out there and make people notice that he's out there.
Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, it's Fast Line on 101 ESPN. We have our Sports Six Pack next. So if you have a question for us, send it into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Again, 314-399-9646. Sports Six Pack next.
Summer loving had me a blast.
Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, back with you here, joined by our great buddy, Stewie, from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. And Stewie, one thing that we know and most of our listeners know is that you're always coming up with great ideas, great programs. Well, I hear you've got a new product for us.
We do, Jamie. When people are in a situation they need $50,000 and they don't want to redo their first mortgage because the rate they have is at 2%, sometimes that makes sense. If you have a $400,000 balance or $500,000 balance, you're at 3%, you need $50,000, you don't want to refinance the whole loan and lose that 3%, what can you do about it? Going out and get a home equity line of credit that's usually an adjustable rate mortgage, directly tied into whatever the Federal Reserve does, very dangerous. Rates can go up. There's no ceiling. There's no cap. You can end up in a very bad situation. So we rolled out a product today. Doesn't require an appraisal. Doesn't require a whole refinance. You get your money, get this, in 5 days. $50,000, $20,000, $30,000, minimum is $25,000. You get a fixed rate, fixed term. It's quick, it's easy, it's simple, no appraisal required. and you get your money. So this is going to give you an opportunity not to have to refinance the first mortgage and still get your cash at reasonable terms.
Jamie, it's quick, it's easy, it's simple, but you got to pick up the phone. You got to call Stewie or text him. He doesn't mind text either because it's his personal cell phone number. 314-324-4440.
Again, that's 314-324-4440.
If you love what you heard, maybe you only heard half of it, you're like, man, this sounds good. Pick up the phone. Call Stewie. Ask him when you saw him on the Fast Lane with Jamie and Anthony. Loves to help you. And if you can't remember that number, Jamie,
just Google the Begalong.
Thank you, Stewie. Keep up the great work, man.
Have a good one, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
Or open up your 101 mobile app for your chance to win a Callaway Pro Slope Laser Golf Rangefinder. We're always loaded up with awesome giveaways in your 101 listener rewards section, including your chance to win a laser rangefinder that allows you to lock onto a pin up to 300 yards away. Get entered to win now either at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app. It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
If you got a question for us, send it in now to the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646.
Whatever it is. Teach us something.
Teach us something. They used to do Teach Us Tuesday in the Fast Lane during the pandemic.
Tuesday,
yeah, I know. Teach Us Tuesday.
We just learned a lot from one of our listeners.
Well, good. Mm-hmm. We like to learn.
Yeah. We're an educational show.
Of course we are.
We're learning every day.
We tell you about the Roman times all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, question one, please.
Question number one.
All right, we were just talking about the St. Louis Blues as they go up against the Columbus Blue Jackets, not the Black Jackets.
No.
From the 636, which defenseman is going to improve the most this season or have a bounce-back year?
Wow. Well, they got more than one that needs it, so that's one thing about that. I think Colton Parayko. I think he has a hell of a year this year. I know that he spent the entire offseason here in St. Louis and worked on his game the entire summer. Had a great summer of training. He's very focused, very honest with himself as to what went on last year, and very honest with himself as to that he has to improve. So my pick for that would be Colton Parayko.
Yeah. That's probably the best. That's probably the best option, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go Colton Parayko as well. Good call, Jamie. I was gonna be different, but what you said was perfect.
Oh, thank you, Anthony. Your endorsement means a lot. It does.
Doesn't feel like it.
Sure does.
Question two, please.
Question number two.
From the 314, if the Fast Lane were a musical, what actors would play each of you?
It's a good question.
So I think the one guy that pops up for Marshy is
God? I don't think God is going to play Marsh.
I forget. He's got a brother, too. Hemsworth?
Oh, Liam Hemsworth or...
is Chad or Brad or Chris?
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. I think that guy would be Marshy.
That's a good call in terms of the face.
Yeah. I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can sing, though.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
We don't care.
Okay.
We're
trying to sell tickets.
Oh,
Hey, he sells tickets.
And lip sync to that.
Yeah. All right.
For myself, I'll be modest with this one, but based upon, the salt and pepper hair and all that stuff, I think George Clooney would be accurate.
Yeah, George Clooney, I think, is perfect for you, Jamie.
It's a bit of a step back for me, but that's okay. I'm okay with it.
And George Clooney works well with Brad Pitt, so I'll just go with Brad Pitt.
There you go,
I think
if
that
you
works.
Squint enough, you can see it.
You can see it.
Yeah.
For both of us. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think we got a solid musical coming.
Let's go. All we need is music, writers, talent.
Yeah.
The old musicale.
The script.
I think they're on a block right now. Or
another strike.
Another strike.
Or did that get lifted? I
don't know.
You don't know?
I think we would have heard about that. Maybe.
I'm just hearing about the strike now, so.
You didn't know there was a strike?
No. You kidding me?
Get out of the house once in a while.
How, Jamie?
Good point.
Question number 3.
I got kids. They're all young. They all need stuff constantly. I'm exhausted. Go ahead, Marsh.
From the 314, did Jamie Rivers ever have a hat trick when he was in the NHL?
Well, close. Not in the NHL. A couple of hat tricks growing up and in junior hockey. But I think I've told you this story before, Anthony. I was playing for the Boston Bruins at the time, and when I got traded there, they had injuries that had plagued the lineup and whatnot. And so when everybody got healthy, Robbie Fatorik, who was the head coach then, he comes up to me with his thick Boston accent, and he goes, "I've been looking through your stats." And he goes, "You scored 121 points as a defenseman?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Have you ever played forward?" I go, "Yeah, a little bit in St. Louis. They just give me some ice time." He goes, "Let me tell you something. You're going to be a centerman tonight. I'm going to keep you in the lineup, and I'm going to play you on the power play."
Wow.
So,
for which team was this?
The Boston Bruins.
Okay.
So I go out there. I think it was like second shift of the game. John Emmons, household name. He goes in on this tough forecheck against the Buffalo Sabres, passes the puck out front. I put it home. Goal number 1. Go back to the bench, and Fatorik is like, "See, I told you, you're a forward now." Fast forward to the second period.
You got to be jacked.
Oh, I'm jacked up. Yeah, the place is going nuts. Like, they know I'm not a forward, but Boston fans are loving it. Second period, he puts me out on the power play. At the point now, I'm playing defense. And we're chucking the biscuit around. Sergei Samsonov does a little tight turn, lays it out to me. One-timer, top shelf.
Wow.
2 goals now. One as a forward, one as a defenseman.
Nice.
I am riding high. About a minute left in the second period. As a forward again, puck pops out to me. I drop down to a knee like to redirect it. Clang, off the post. The rebound was sitting there, then the guy tackled me. I would have had an empty net rebound hat trick goal, but when he tackled me, my stick got underneath me, so they got a penalty, but I didn't get the hat trick. And then we were up by 2 goals into the game, or up by a goal, 1 goal into the game. They pulled their goalie. I looked back at Robbie. I'm like, "Hey, come on. I can do this. I can do this." He's like, "Okay, you're going. You're going." He's like, "Play forward, though." I'm like, "Okay, great. I'm going to play forward." We never got out of our end. We never got a chance to make the line change.
No.
I'm watching the clock, and I'm like, "No."
Oh, no.
So I was that close to getting a hat trick.
So you never got back over the boards?
I never got back on the ice because their goalie was pulled, end of the game.
Yeah.
They kept us kind of hemmed in, and guys couldn't change. So
in Marsh,
and guys were wanting to change. Guys were like trying to get off the ice.
Sounds like your teammates didn't like you.
Well,
no,
is that what you're going to say?
I wasn't going to say that. That's a great thought.
There's a lot of things have been said about me. That has never been one of them.
No. Marsh, I mean.
Oh.
What?
Yeah. If they would have had a certain camp back in the day.
The clearest camp?
They clear that thing out of the zone. Jamie's got a hat trick.
We couldn't get the puck back.
Do you never touch the puck?
Not really, no.
Oh, well. The clear camp can't help you there.
But we but ended up being first star of the game
That's
that night.
awesome.
Scoring 1 goal as a forward, 1 goal as a defenseman.
That's incredible.
It's the closest I've been.
Do they keep you up at forward?
Yeah, I played 35 games as centerman.
What?
Go back, and I'm telling you what, if you want to be entertained, go back and watch games if they're available that year. My line mates, it was me at center with PJ Stock and Dennis Bonvie on the wings. It was the Hansons. Dennis Bonvie is the all-time penalty minute leader in pro hockey ever. And PJ Stock, if you want fun, one night just for fun, YouTube PJ Stock fights. He's about 5'10", but throws absolute hammer fists like pistons. We ran around. Wayne Cashman was our forward coach. He was back in the day with the Bruins, tough team. We were the teal line. That was our color in practice. He'd have mandatory teal line meeting before every game. And he would tell us how he wanted us to play that night. He'd be like, all right, tonight, got a skilled team over there. Just don't be stupid. We don't need penalties. Don't be an idiot. Robbie wants to play you guys, but you can't play you guys if you're hurting the team. So tonight, just get the puck in, be calm, don't worry about it. Other nights, he'd be like, it doesn't get any greener. First shift, I want chaos.
Nice.
All right. First shift, we dump the puck in and be 3 guys just screaming around the ice, killing people.
That's awesome.
It was great. We got to be the grand marshals of the St. Paddy's Day Parade in Dorchester, Mass. that year.
Really?
The teal line.
That's phenomenal.
It was funny as hell.
Question number 4.
This one's from Marsh's burner account. Did you guys hear that Tyreek Hill said he wants to be a porn star after he retires?
Oh, we all.
You gotta have goals in life.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill's got a goal. So he goes ahead and he has a great NFL career. He's a Super Bowl champion, and then he's gonna be in film.
He wants to be an actor.
He wants
Anthony.
to be an actor. Yeah. So
that's all there is to it.
And he doesn't have any acting credentials, so
sure
that's how you get there.
I'm sure he has experience.
Sure. In acting?
No. No acting experience. Just overall, I think he has life experiences.
Well, how are you going to be an actor if you don't, get in there? Jamie?
Well, I don't know if he's too fast.
It may not be a great quality for that industry.
Yeah.
You're right, Marshy. The producer,
He's the cheetah.
The director might get frustrated with
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's good to have goals.
But if you're paying him by the hour, it's probably good.
Yeah, probably. Good call. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Beat the streak, and biggest question of the day is next.
If you're in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, Londoff Chevrolet is your one-stop shop. They've been in the business for over 80 years, and they consider all of their customers to be a part of the Londoff family. And right now, if you're looking for a pre-owned Toyota RAV4, Londoff Chevrolet has you covered. The retail price, $40,200, but The Autoplex sale price, $35,976. Big savings there. They also have a 2020 Malibu Premier. It's black. The suggested price on this, the Londoff price, $26,599. Only 40,000 miles. The Malibu is loaded. And I can tell you this, that once you get your vehicle from Londoff Chevrolet, they take care of you. They don't forget who you are. In fact, they want to see you time and time again, your family, your friends, everyone. And they want to make sure they take care of your vehicle. So if there's a pre-owned vehicle, I can guarantee you that Londoff Chevrolet has taken excellent care of that vehicle. So please get into either location, Florissant, Missouri, or St. Peters, Missouri. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love to hear that. If you can't get there in person, though, get there online. Visit Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Sponsored by JimButlerChevrolet.com.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals taking on the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. Miles Michaelis is on the mound. Earlier today was Zach Thompson, but Miles Michaelis will take the bump for the Cardinals. Going up against Adrian Hauser, 6:40 first pitch. The Blues and the Blue Jackets square off tonight. Some preseason action for you. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. You can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. And last night, Monday Night Football, the Eagles took down the Bucs 25-11, and the Bengals beat the Rams 19-16. If you missed anything from today's show, including our interview with Joe Vitale, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. You can find all of our interviews and full shows there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hit baseballs.
All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
All right, time to play Beat the Streak, one of our final Beat the Streak games here in the Fastlane on 101 ESPN. And we welcome back Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. Marsh, what are our standings here?
Yeah, Anthony, you have a streak of 5 right now, so you will go first. Ryan is at 3, Jamie is at 1, and I am back to 0.
Fun.
All right. I'm going to go with, as the Cardinals take on the Brewers tonight, why don't we get Christian Yelich off the board here? Christian Yelich is my play tonight.
Nice pick.
Thank you. Ryan.
I'm going to go Lars Nootbaar.
Ryan gets it. He knows.
Jamie, what's your pick?
Honestly? For real?
Yeah.
It's my turn?
It's your turn.
Oh, okay. I'm going with Enrico Palazzo. I'm doubling down.
Okay. Marsh?
Oh, I'm gonna go with Mark Canha. He seemed to do pretty well for you last week, Anthony.
He did.
I'm gonna stick with Mark Canha.
All right. So I took Christian Yelich. Ryan took Lars Taylor, Tatsui Newbar. Jamie doubled down with Richie Palacios. And Marsh went with Mark Canha of the Brewers. Ryan, good luck, man. Hopefully we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thanks. That's Beat the Streak here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Now it's time for the biggest question of the day.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
All right, we've had multiple discussions about this today. First, it started off with BT mentioning that Wilson Contreras may not be the full catcher next year. He could be a corner outfielder. He could be a DH. He's just speculating. Perhaps that's the direction the Cardinals want to go in. Let's just assume that that is true.
Okay.
What the hell are they doing? If they want to play a corner outfield spot, they already have like 10 outfielders.
Yeah. I don't.
How do they go about this roster construction with Wilson Contreras not being an everyday catcher?
I buy what BT is saying about the Cardinals not wanting Wilson Contreras to be a full-time catcher next year. I buy that. I mean, everything that they did at the start of the year indicated that. They feel as though they look like they're a team. They're like, well, we completely screwed up and we don't want him to catch. Regardless of what our feelings are on that, and Jamie's very passionate about it, but regardless of what our feelings are about it, the Cardinals feel that way. So I buy that they want him to be, a non-full-time catcher next year. I don't buy that they want him to play in the corner outfield spot, in one of the corner outfields. What are you doing?
Play first base.
Maybe, but
and the reason I bring
just have him DH and then catch every once in a while.
Yeah, but the reason I bring up first base is you got one more year of Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah,
and if you like the handful of games that Alec Burleson played first base this year.
Can he go to Contreras?
Can he go to Contreras?
Sure.
Can he play first base? And then when Goldie is maybe no longer part of your organization, who knows? At least he's got some reps there.
Yeah. It's not a bad thought.
I don't know. I'm looking for something here. Because to throw this guy into the bucket of outfielders again.
Why?
I don't know. I don't get it. Listen, why? That encompasses the entire signing. Why? At this point. Like, if you're going for a DH, do you think you would have just zeroed in on the best DH available? Because the money you gave Contreras is more than what you would have had to pay for the best DH on the market.
Yeah.
So the why, Anthony, that's one hell of a big umbrella right now.
And we've talked about this before, how we think that they should go to just a set lineup. They're mixing and matching. It's just this roster. That's not what they're about. It's not the team for that kind of plug and play style that we see from San Francisco. I mean, if you do this though, you're absolutely going right back to the well of what they did this year, where they're playing infielders in the outfield, and they're playing this guy over there because this guy has to play here this day, but this guy needs a day off, and it's just a cluster, what?
Well, one of what you just said there, it's one of the biggest fears.
Yeah, it sounds like nothing's going to change if this is true.
It's one of my biggest fears with the Cardinals, that nothing does change, that they just roll with the same idea. We'll get a bunch of guys that we'll be fine defensively. We can't possibly be much worse, so we'll just get a bunch of guys that keep the ball on the ground. And then we'll stick Contreras in the outfield where it doesn't really belong, and we'll just mix and match, and everything will be good. It won't be.
It wasn't.
That's my fear, that this season will have been a complete waste. Don't make it. You're about to finish in dead last. Sole ownership of 5th place in the National League Central. Be so embarrassed that you don't want to see that ever happen again, and actually make changes. Because what you have been doing has not worked. And I know the constant National League Central, appearances or divisions and the wild card appearance. What has that gotten you? use this season as a complete opportunity to retool your thinking. Don't just retool the roster, retool your thinking.
You know, when you look at the Central Division, and we always talk about it being the worst division in baseball, it really isn't. Like, I'm looking at right now, like the Brewers are 88 and 68. The Philadelphia Phillies are 87 and 69.
Yeah.
The Chicago Cubs are 82 and 74. The Miami Marlins 81 and 75. You know, you look at the Diamondbacks at 82 and 74. They're a wild card team. Well, that's the same as the Cubs, and the Brewers are better.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants aren't as good. So the Brewers and the Cubs have somehow improved.
Yeah.
Now, I know that they're 88 and 82 wins. They're not juggernauts, but in comparison to the rest of the National League, the Dodgers and the Braves are the only ones that are better. So you can't go back as the Cardinals and say next year, well, it's a Central Division. It'll be just fine.
Right.
Apparently you're not.
Yeah, it's improved.
It's improved.
The Pirates are better than you this year.
The Reds are better.
The Reds are better than you.
The Reds are better overall. They're trending in the right direction.
Yeah, and they have good, young, exciting players.
So I don't think you can double back by saying, we'll just get guys through because we're in the worst division. We're in the Central. Not a big deal. No, the Central's gotten better.
Right. Good call. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We have What You Missed, Criticisms, Compliments next. I make the Missouri Athletic Club part of my everyday routine. I head down there. I usually go to the MAC West, the MAC West, excuse me. But when it comes to the advantages that I have just kind of being a club member, man, they're unlimited. I love the fact that I get my workout in. I love that they've got various clubs going on. I love the fact that I can involve the family. The pool is obviously being, they're going to wrap up the pool and kind of close that. But the summertime, it's a great spot for us and the family. My wife and I have had date nights at the Missouri Athletic Club where we go get some dinner. The chefs are always on point there when it comes to going down to the downtown spot and various events that they host there, whether we're a part of it here on 101 ESPN or we just take part of the speaker series that they have. Man, it's great. It's Missouri Athletic Club. It's Miami C. We all heard this. It's so funny, man. We all heard the song and we all went like this. We're all like starting to scramble, like.
Another
we're getting ready for the show.
Let's get nasty to end this show.
Wow. Marsh put in the opening theme here, but it still hits the same. You know?
It does. It does. Doesn't matter when you get it. It still hits.
Hits the same. Yep. Absolutely.
Well said.
All right. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. All brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Marsh, do we have any criticisms or compliments today?
Yeah,
as we lead into Blue Jackets pregame here on 101 ESPN. Again, top of the hour Blue Jackets pregame.
By the way, not a member of the show, but a member of the Fast Lane team when it comes to the Pick'em Challenge. Yeah. Carrie Davis getting a ton of compliments as of late. So awesome. Congratulations to him.
Anything particular?
I think it was about his one of the commercials that he did.
Yeah,
I think they really
about
liked
the deck.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one yet.
No.
It was good. It's real good.
Hopefully he gets that fixed up.
Yeah. He didn't realize how bad it looked.
That's right. Sometimes it looks way worse than you think.
They have somebody look at it and get it fixed up for you.
Let the experts handle it.
No doubt. Way to go, Carrie.
Let's get to it. We got a text from the 314. Can we get an entire show with Jamie doing his Boston accent? Sounds like Horseshack from Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh, no, it doesn't. Mr. Carter. Ooh. I have a question. You ever see that show, Welcome Back, Kotter?
I've heard of it, but that was before my time.
Yeah. I could see how it kind of sounded like him.
You sound like Marsh? Who's the really like nerdy guy on Family Guy? Is it Family Guy?
It's what is his name?
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I'm looking at him right now. I can visualize. He's got the glasses, the hair on the side.
Yeah, like Mort or something. That's who Jamie sounds like to me.
All right.
The guy from Family Guy.
If you have a chance, you can YouTube Welcome Back, Kotter, or just Horseshack.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was pretty good on that one.
All right, so Welcome Back, Kotter, or would you say Horseshack?
That's
Okay.
The Goldmans. They have a family. It's the Goldmans.
The Goldmans. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he does kind of sound like that.
Well done, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. By the way, from the 618, the writer's strike has been settled. The actor's strike, not yet. So that will put a halt on us actually doing the musical that we said. But someone could actually start writing it. So
okay, well we'll get on that.
We'll get confirmation later.
We're not going to hit the ground running. I mean, this thing's going to be spectacular.
No doubt.
Us performing at the Stiefel Opera House.
Certainly. Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People are going to want to see it. Fastlane the musical.
Yeah, they are, for sure.
Yeah.
I bet if nothing else, they're curious.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. We got a text after the Gauntlet from the 314. I can't believe some of your listeners. We almost lost the Gauntlet a while back, and here we go again. People complaining about something/anything. Just take it for what it is. Trivia. Live and learn. Have a great show, fellas. Hope I'm not a texter you hate to hear from.
No, we love to hear from all of our texters.
Absolutely.
Well, most of them.
Most of them, yeah.
Every now and then, there's a couple that wear us out.
Yeah, a little bit. But that's okay. You know, they're passionate, and they're listening to the show. Or they're not listening at all, and they're just waiting for us to say something, and then they text in because they have a point that they want to be heard. And, yeah, we all want to be heard, Jamie. So that's what we're all about here in the Fast Lane.
From the 417, thank you, Jamie. You're on fire tonight. I'm loving your takes. NL Central is underrated this year.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you listening. And, I actually was just thinking about it right before that moment. I was like, you know what? I know the Brewers and the Cubs are better than people are giving them credit for right now.
Yeah.
And so, kind of firing it out there so that John Mozeliak could hear it, because we know he listens. He's an avid listener.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he always enters to win all these competitions. We see you, John.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. I don't blame you. Some of the stuff we give away is fantastic.
It's fantastic. Yeah, we got a lot of good tickets to give away and things like that.
This is a great one from the 636. Great show today, guys. You are all the best, or you all are the best. Let's start writing that musical, so you better go get some rest. We are all sports fans. We love the Cardinals and Blues. With 101 ESPN, we all can never lose.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Right there. Yes.
Okay, nice. Well done.
Yes. Of course, we can't perform that, though, because we're on strike, but...
Not for long, no, Marshy.
Yes.
Nothing says we can't rehearse.
But it sounds like we got a writer.
We do.
We do.
I mean, that was
Marshy,
fantastic.
I think you should write the music. Like, that would be the writer.
Well, I think that is the music.
Yeah, but I think that's the writer for the actual, like, the content of the musical, because not everything is music in a musical. Because you have the acting, and then they bust out into a song.
Yeah,
Marshy,
for no
if
reason.
nothing else, I'd like to collaborate with that texter.
Yeah, I think we could whip something up, you know?
Yeah, I've seen your talents.
Well, thank you. We'll have our own ghostwriter.
Yeah.
And not the ghost that we talked about earlier in the show.
Start the show.
You'll Fister Ghost.
Yep. The Fister Ghost, yes. I hope BT's okay.
Most dangerous kind.
Oh, no doubt, yeah. Do you guys ever wonder, too, while watching musicals, why they just go ahead and bust in a song just in the middle of conversation?
They're feeling it, man.
Yeah.
Like,
don't you ever just bust out into, like, you're cleaning the garage and you just bust out talking about shovels and stuff?
That's the thing. That's the thing, Jamie.
Yeah, do not use the shovel as a microphone?
I don't even say like us.
Come back and forth. I can see Anthony be like, shovel.
I'm gonna put you away.
You are my best friend.
I got a spot on the wall for you.
I really dig you.
All right, you serial killer.
That was good. Wow. That's always in play.
Yeah. You helped me take out that bush the other day.
I think this musical is going to be on fire.
What?
Yeah, you heard me. Nice shovel, you know.
No, I like where your head's at.
Sometimes you got to get that out, Jamie.
Yep.
We get a text from the 314.
Destroy it.
Of course, I listen to you guys, just like I'm always listening to my wife. I don't know what.
Well,
does that mean?
Yeah, no, he doesn't. I'm thinking.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a ricochet.
There are times when you just keep the feet moving. Now is that time.
Yeah, that was a ricochet for his wife. Yeah. That was a full-on shot at us.
You cannot use us as the vehicle for that. I will not allow it.
Nope.
So that was a crap sandwich.
That wasn't. That was.
Was that just like spam?
That was somebody
right on the
open-faced crap sandwich.
That was somebody trying to drag us into their problems.
Yeah, totally.
We appreciate you listening, but
we don't want any of your problems. We got our own.
Trust me.
Thank you. We got our own problems here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
This is true.
All right, so the Blues and Blue Jackets tonight. Pre-game starting in about 5 minutes or so. You'll hear, of course, from Alex Ferrario and Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale during the pre-game, and you'll hear from all three guys as well during the broadcast. Looking forward to that. Tomorrow we'll be back from 2 to 6. We'll do more Blues, and Jamie will have some observations on the game tonight. Blues, maybe a little Cardinals, depending on what happens tonight. And by the way, Miles Michaelis is going to take the bump tonight, not Zach Thompson. Zach Thompson was scheduled to start tonight, but he got pushed back to tomorrow. Dakota Hudson will be on Thursday. So again, it'll be Miles Michaelis tonight in Milwaukee opposing Adrian Hauser. Brewers with an opportunity with a win to clinch NL Central. With a loss, the Cardinals will sew up last place. So both teams fighting for something tonight there, Jamie. Both teams fighting for something. For Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter again. Blues, Blue Jackets pregame starting right now. See ya.